Welcome back to another episode of Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk. I think we're getting feedback from someone's mic. Um, this is episode
Mac, is it you?
76. Yeah, everybody go on mute. Episode 76. This is going to be talking about the Tokyo Marui MWS system. Here we have our guests, which is going to be our community members. I'm gonna be honest here. Me, Mac, and Tack, your hosts, do not own an MWS system. We would love to own an MWS. Yeah, eventually we'll own one, but I'm stuck in the old days of using Wii and still with the GHK. I love the GHK, and then Mac has the Wii, and then I think Tack, you have a Wii as well. And
Yes.
yeah, that's our experience right there. We are gas. I think everybody here is gas users, which is awesome. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun topic here, guys. So before I go through anything here, we're just gonna introduce. Actually, we will. We'll introduce a little bit of our guests here, and then we'll do a full introduction after the history part. So over here we have. I guess we'll start off with Henry, also known as Vire. So say hello or wave there so people can see you.
Hello.
All right, perfect. And then we got Tom, also known in the community as Trasher Tom, wearing a Trasher shirt, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's how I got it.
Yeah, lovely. And we got Alistair, also known as Chuck. I believe he's got a history with that name later. He'll mention that. And we have Dennis, also known as Raging Crunch in the community. Hello, give us a wave there.
What's up?
All right. So, before we get started here, we'll just talk a little bit of history with the with Tokyo Marui, and as well as the MWS system. I'm just gonna do bullet point form here of how things got started. So Tokyo Marui Co Limited, or TM for short, is what we call it. Has been around since 1965. So it's almost 60 years worth of airsoft at this point. I think like 55 or 56 or something like that.
They old.
Yeah, they old. They old.
It's not as old as Nintendo, but
Yeah,
like you might as
Nintendo-
well be.
Okay,
Nintendo-
okay. You're just fighting and sticking in the weed.
Someone did their research. Nintendo's like what 100 and something or something like that.
Yeah.
Crazy. So TM didn't release their first toy gun, or like their first toy hobby gun, until 1979. I think that's when the curve started to rise. It wasn't until 1985 when they released the Luger P-08 that launches 6mm pellets, and that's when I guess the Japanese started to shoot better with BBs. I don't know. But
Look, it was desperate times, okay? After the war, we had like nothing to do. Like
We can literally
No
go
guns,
over
yeah.
this topic on another podcast,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
I was airsoft
with Japanese law banning real steel guns, it basically became toy guns were a thing to go to. It wasn't until or the first industry first gas blowback was released in 1986. That's when I was born. With the S&W M59. That looks like a nine like not nine like it look like it looks like
I think it's
1911.
proprietary. Yeah,
Is it proprietary?
I mean, yeah, Smith and Wesson have always created their own line of pistols.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah,
so,
but
like-
if you want to compare it to a pistol, it would be like 1911. That's what it looks like to me, anyway. It's a shortened
Okay.
version of it.
right.
I
I
think
think
hammer fire one. Like,
Yeah.
I think some of the controls actually look a little like the high power, but
So yeah, so that's when they released the first gas blowback. Someone wanna mute their mic because it's I think it might be Tom. Or no, it might be Mac. So it took them until May 2014 to May 2014 to preview the first M4 gas blowback. So with TM, they're actually late to the game when it came to M4 gas blowbacks. I wouldn't say they were beat to the punch by these other guys like GHK, all these other guys, but I think they had something brewing. They wanted perfection, and the Japanese were all about that. So they previewed it at it was showcased at the 53rd Shizuoka Hobby Shop. Am I saying that right? Ooh. Mac? Am I saying Mac? You guys on mute?
Shizuoka.
Okay. Oh yeah. I was
How
just
do
gonna
you
say
pronounce
back,
it? All right.
Well, you were close, but I mean, you're missing an accent. It's fine.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta lean into the accent,
Yeah.
like hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
yeah.
of course, it would be called the M4A1 MWS. If you guys ever wondering, I think Mac told me this, or not Mac, Tack told me this the other day. MWS stands for Modular Weapons System. It actually pulled up on the TM history of what it actually meant.
Well, it was
So-
based off of the first gun that they had, and like knowing, you know, Canadian or not Canadian, North Americans and their acronyms,
Acronyms,
and whatnot. So it's stuck, and you know, there you go. Because what's funny is that we call it the MWS system, right? But what it actually is the ZET system. So when you go to Japan and you talk about any of that kind of stuff, they're gonna be like the ZET system, or they're gonna be like the gas machine gun. Like that's
Yeah.
what they're gonna say. So
Yeah,
it's
they're gonna be like
MWS.
MWS.
Yeah, because it will exactly like
W?
acronyms don't really work in Japanese because like of the whole phonetics of the language. So like Max saying it, like you would be like it's like no, it's not happening. Zet,
Yeah,
right there,
gotcha.
right? Like think about that. Zet.
So actually, we skipped ahead with the ZET system here, but later they released the actual product in December 2014 due to some engineering, like the engineer team making further improvements in performance and durability. So that's when the actual like MWS system was released. Someone is echoing again. So later that year, once they released the MWS system, later that year, 2015, late 2015, the MWS ZET system was released, and to further improve upon the durability and improve the performance of the system. So this is where, this is what everybody has at this point. So with nearly 50 years of airsoft experience, TM has always been a golden standard when it comes to the airsoft industry. The TM MWS system is only about 7 years old, young compared to all the other systems in place, especially GBBR systems. So TM came late to the game when it comes to the GBBR M4s, but TM engineering seems to have paid off with the MWS ZET system. It's very durable, high performance, and better quality than all the other systems. In what they're saying, allegedly. But we're gonna go through it with you guys on how you guys feel about it. Hack, you wanted to add a little bit of history here in terms of like after this?
Yeah, so when we're talking about like the history and stuff like that, right? Like everyone thinks about Tokyo Marui MWS system, right? Like I believe actually let me just do quick so I don't like shoot myself in the foot here. But let's see here. Okay, well they don't call it that, but the ZET system that's inside the whole MWS system, right? So like that's like kind of like the whole cool factor thing of it, right? And like it's different from all the other ones. It's a more closed system in a sense, and let's see here, and so like it's inside not only the MWS, but it's inside pretty much like any cool new gas gun that TM has. So like their AKM series that they have is going to have the ZET system inside it. So that, you know, like to me, that's something that's really, really cool.
Their M4 is basically the R&D at this point, which paved the way for the rest of the system.
Pretty much, yeah. Like if I remember correctly, one of the original packages that they had was a Block 1 SOP mod. If I remember correctly.
Or
I think it was sorry to interrupt. I think it was CQBR. No.
As their first like release product.
Yeah, for the first one. If I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
it's a
it was
soft
like
mod. Yeah.
Oh,
it
okay.
was an M4A1 SOP mod. I believe it was the first one that they came out with.
Yeah, and
it
then
was
they
like
had a whole bunch of variants
Yeah.
that right from
Yeah,
there.
they
But-
built off that.
Yeah, but most of it is actually just externals. Like even the inner barrel is actually the same across all like MWS products. Like even if you have a MTR,
Mhm.
I think the MTR has like the longest outer barrel, but the inner barrel is still the same. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know, I don't know if you guys have MTR or not.
Nope.
Mm.
Okay.
My friend has an MTR, and when he showed me it, it is significantly longer. Like
Very
it's
long,
not
yeah.
it's like a block 2 kind of long,
Mhm.
but it's very similar
It's an
in
M16
that,
long.
in that
Mhm.
yeah, kind of like an M16 style, but like more modular.
Mhm.
But it's, like I said, kind of the same length
Mhm.
in itself, you know.
Yeah.
But
So it's like the full 18-inch barrel instead
Yeah,
of
yeah.
But
Yeah.
The MTR is actually an original Tokyo Marui design, so
Yeah,
as in
yeah.
for the external. So
Okay.
it's designed to look like a BQB weapon pretty much.
Mhm.
But obviously taking advantage of like the Z system. By the way, I do have the Tokyo Marui page brought up just on my thing.
Okay.
And just reading off their description of what the Z system does. In English, they translate it to Z as in ZET,
Mhm.
but in Japanese is actually just Z, like the
Yep.
letter Z.
Mm.
And like
That's how it's said.
it's how it's said.
It's said. That's why it's funny.
The door, yeah. So anyway, the main selling point of the system is actually longevity of the internal parts.
That is it is tried and true. Like that is basically what I just mentioned at the very beginning. There is like very durable,
Tried and
high
true.
performance, and
Yeah, the idea
better
is that
quality.
the idea is that you don't want your gun tearing itself apart
Yeah.
like over 10,000 BBs, right? So
Yeah, and that's what
that's the
that's what
premise.
they tested it on. Is they tested it to make sure that it shoots about 10,000 BBs.
Mhm.
You know, in the durability like hell test basically,
Mhm.
and that is tried and true to all TM systems at this point. All right.
Okay, so sorry about that.
Yep.
Just also to get into like you said, you wanted me to go into a little bit of history, so I'm just gonna go into. I just remembered in the top of my head. It's like right history. What am I doing here?
Yeah.
So guys, a little history on here. Okay, the original MWS model apparently underwent a 5-year development phase, just to get to a stage where Tokyo Marui was happy just to release it to the public. So that's actually a long time, in my opinion, for toy gun kind of thing. A lot of research and production kind of went into it, aka armed with picture beside other model, right, boy?
Shot show.
But
it's this long.
Exactly. But its eventual release date being postponed at least once. By an 18th month period, guys, to ensure that the finished product would live up to its expectations. Now, I don't know about you guys, but lived up.
We're gonna find out. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an easy win for Tokyo Marui to make such a simple iteration of the M4A1, recreating that simple look of the earlier USGI M4A1 carbine at the lower retail cost, and with a key appeal to those wanting to build something drastically different from the base replica. So, however, though, it is also a certain appeal to many buyers in its retailed guise as a vanilla M4A1. I know for myself, nothing wrong with vanilla right there, right? So, if you guys think about it, I guess at that time or for that time period, most people would relate it to something like Die Hard, right? Yeah? No?
I would associate Die Hard with like the Orc.
No.
No?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna let you hang there to dry.
Okay. Hang me to dry there. Okay, all right.
Tears of the Sun was a good reference.
I was
Sun.
there. We go. Okay,
all right.
Tears of the
there
Sun
you
is
go.
a very good reference for
Yep.
old school
kind of
Okay,
old school
okay.
for old school
weapon
equipment.
systems.
All right. So,
Black
anyways,
Hawk Down.
oh man, how could I forget about?
I was
good
gonna
old
say, like,
Modular?
how did you skip that one? Like, that
Yeah,
was
you know
so
what?
many guns.
You know what?
He's
It's like
just
an Airsoft
reading a
hop-up.
script. Leave him alone.
It's like an Airsoft hop up, and sometimes you miss and sometimes you score. Anyways, throwing it back to you for it.
All right. So before we get started here, we'll just do again some some more deep introductions with the guest here. We're going to be asking them some questions here that we love to ask in our show here, the usual questions, because we like to hear what other airsofters think about these questions, and we'll probably make a comparison video eventually of what people think. But let's just do some brief introduction here. So we'll start off with let's go backwards here. The quietest one is Dennis. Raging Crunch. So give us a little bit of introduction of yourself here. How long you've been playing. What's your favorite airsoft gun? Of course, it's probably going to be the MWS. And have you owned a TM gun before MWS? And I'll ask the final one afterwards. But yeah, go ahead.
Sounds good. So I'm 27 now, and so I've been playing airsoft since legally 18. But I have owned airsoft guns when I was like 16. I fell in love with airsoft when I went back to Taiwan to visit family, and they have like these night markets. It's kind of like the PNE or a fair. There's like these carnival games, so they use airsoft guns, and then you shoot these balloons. Yep. And I was like, once I played it once, I'm like, okay, I'm hooked with airsoft. Like, what is this thing? I have owned tons of TM guns in my lifetime. I've owned like the original MP5s or MP5 SD. They were, compared to nowadays, they were terrible. But back then they were like that. This was like, I saved up like a lifetime to buy this gun, right?
Do you have the NGRS MP5?
I haven't owned any NGRSs, and I'll kind of get to that later on. But I have owned like the AUG High Cycle. I don't own these guns anymore, but then I just switched to like other guns. And like I have owned like a lot of pistols too. Like right now, I only have one TM pistol. It's the High Kappa, and then my only other TM gun now is obviously my MWS. That's a Mark 18. But yeah, I've been playing airsoft like realistically for a long time, but it was more on and off, and it was just the past 2 years that I kind of decided to go pretty hard into it, just because of work and stuff. So yeah.
That extra income.
Yeah, the extra income. Well, it's not just the extra income. I get a lot of time off now, so.
Oh, good.
Well, I work shift work, right? So I got 4 days off, so it's pretty nice. But funny enough, the MWS isn't my favorite airsoft gun.
Oh,
okay.
My favorite airsoft gun in my collection right now is my VFC URGI.
Oh,
okay.
Gas blowback.
Right,
It is a gas blowback rifle. I'll maybe like later down. I'll kind of explain why it's my favorite, because it's also my most. It's also my most hated.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah,
I love it.
All right. So, thank you very much. I'll come back to you with another question for everybody here later. But let's go to Chuck, Alistair, also known as Chuck.
Hey there. I guess my history with airsoft is quite recent compared to you guys. Like, I actually started playing like as of like December 2020, which is like less than 2 years ago.
COVID times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, literally I started during COVID.
I do remember your first day at the field.
Yeah. So like what? But I did actually own like a fair few guns since 2017. That's because of the nature of my work.
Yeah.
Like I primarily I'm an animator, so within video games. So like I needed something to use as a reference, yeah. Right? So that's how it started. And I think my first airsoft gun was actually, I bought it from Camouflage. It was like a Combat Master or something like that, just so I could have something in my hands. But then that obviously spiraled out of control. And
like it does for
spiral.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, we don't call it spiral.
It's a rabbit hole. You know?
Out of control. I feel like this is all in control.
Yeah,
it's your wallet.
Yeah, I call it a controlled dive. But anyway, like my I actually got the MWS system in 2018. Like this is even way before I started playing. Because I loved how realistic it was. And how accurately I could actually portray a lot of the movements that I wanted to represent, within my animation. So that was actually the initial impetus for getting it. Not about performance or whatnot, but just something that like looks the part. And honestly, how I settled on it was that I was looking at Trigger's website and I was looking at gas blowbacks. and the only one that was in stock was actually the MWS at the time. So I was like, yeah, why not?
Okay, and have you owned TM guns before as well?
Actually, the MWS was my first TM gun.
Ah.
Yeah, but since then it's actually kind of blossomed into like a love for it, for that brand, and I've owned like I own at least like a couple TM rifles, the ones behind me, and then a lot of pistols actually.
Gotcha. And do you have any favorites amongst all of these collections that you have?
It's actually my AUG, which is actually the GHK. Unfortunately, TM doesn't make an AUG yet. I hope.
A gas
Hello.
AUG.
Soon.
Gas
Soon.
AUG.
A gas AUG.
Soon.
No.
TM.
Gas
Soon.
AUG. That AUG, please. Onegashimasu. And then the reason mainly is because like I'm actually from Australia, so like the AUG is more of a case of national pride.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and actually by extension of that, like me being able to play airsoft here in Canada is great because in Australia it's banned.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I've been like kind of looking from the sidelines, like, oh my god, look at how awesome toys these guys have up in Canada and America and all that. Everywhere except Australia, actually. Even New Zealand has it.
So,
You guys
New
have,
Zealand
like,
has airsoft.
you guys have like gel blasters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is
they,
there no
they're starting to ban
blaster?
that, and they're starting to ban
Well,
Nerf.
like when
No,
I
they didn't
moved
ban
to
it. You just have to register your Nerf gun.
What?
yeah,
Yes,
it's completely ridiculous. But like when I moved to Canada, gel blasters weren't even a thing. So
Okay.
there wasn't like
So it was already banned.
It was already banned. Like I didn't have an outlet at all. So
So let me
that-
get this
that
straight.
really frustrated me.
Paintball's still there, right? Because that's everyone knows that paintball is like not dangerous for some reason, but it is very dangerous compared to airsoft.
I honestly think it's more just the optics of it, like having people run around with replicas is
Right, because it looks scary. It must
because
be
it looks
dangerous.
scary.
Can you imagine having a milsim game in the outbacks there? Oh my gosh.
It's great, yeah. Like
There's a lot of land out there.
I was gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned for people's health. From
I was gonna be like, that could go very wrong.
So
in
so
many
The waiver is
fast.
so long.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to hydrate a lot.
Yeah.
Every 2 minutes, you need to hydrate.
the cadres you would need for that, he'd be watching you. He has a snake stick, and you're like, "What's that for?" It's like that, and you're like,
You had to get the Aborigine to come like guide you. Like,
"Whoa, whoa!"
Tell you what's like
there.
I was an army cadet in Australia, and we did like a week-long field exercise in Holsworthy Army Base, which is basically like the main training center for the Australian Army in New South Wales, and like it beautiful like bushland, but lots of kangaroos that can stampede over your camp area at any moment. So it was a little dicey at times. Yeah.
Gotcha.
We lost Mac to the kangaroo.
All right. Well, thank you for introduction there. Yeah, we'll be going over some more questions here in a bit. Next up, we have Tom, Trasher Tom. Give us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been playing airsoft. What's your favorite airsoft gun, and have you owned a TM gun? Go ahead.
Hey, thanks for having me on. First of all, so my airsoft hobby, I'll say hobby off the start. It started like with me and my buddies, just kind of shooting the stuff in the backyard, and we kind of like mess around, and then it kind of ended late. Like it was a long time ago. I kept buying the cooler stuff, and then my two other friends, who were playing with me, they just didn't have the capacity, I guess, to buy better guns. And I just kept getting cooler stuff, cooler guns,
Yeah.
And then it kind of died off for a bit. Like they just sat in my room, and like they just sat like on the wall or whatever. And then fast forward, Mac, who went to the same high school as me.
Oh.
Yeah. Me and Mac go back way back a bit. He knew I liked it. He knew I liked the airsoft as well. So for a few years, he was like, "Dude, you got to come out. You got to come play." And finally last summer, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to come out and play. But before that, Tack, he actually fixed my gun. He fixed, because one of my buddies, he kind of wrecked it because he was shooting my AEG and he kind of, didn't do the trigger. Yeah. He didn't, the trigger reset. He just kept, spamming the trigger and he wrecked it. And so Tack fixed my gun, and then I gave it to Mac. He came over one day last summer, and it was ready, and I came to the field to pick it up, and I grabbed it, and that was it. I was sold. Just coming to the field one day, I had a blast my first day. My gun the mags weren't feeding well, but other than that, like, I just had such a fun time.
That's good.
And that was like, we're here now, and now I have an MWS.
There we go.
That was a deep dive to the end of the pool.
Yeah, that went 0 to 100 real fast. Like,
so what were you using as your first airsoft gun out at the field then?
Poi, I'm gonna be straight up with you. It was a Frankenstein M4 that I had built.
That's fine.
Built by myself.
That's fine.
I built it I bought an this is before I started coming to the field. I bought an M4 and I kind of put it together by myself.
Homebrew.
Like
Homebrew,
yeah.
We all got those, man. Don't worry. You ain't gotta be ashamed.
That's what I started with. Like as a good platform to build off of,
Oh, yeah.
and that's the gun Tack had fixed for me, and then after my first day, I was like, wow, that was so much fun. And that same first day, Mac let me use his HPA, and he gave me the backpack for the HPA, and I was like in city playing for my first time in city. I was like, holy, this is so fun, And anyway, after after that day, I was like, I gotta buy more.
Oh,
I need more.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him.
Yeah, we got him.
Insert the US president.
We got him. And soon after that, I bought a VFC a CAG Special Edition 416.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was the early edition, so it didn't have the trades or anything. But I Gucci'd it out. I put all the correct era parts on it, and then Raisin and Virus and another buddy of mine who's not here. Because my other buddy, he has an MWS Mark 18 like Virus and Raisin and I do. He's like, you gotta buy one. They're all like, you gotta get it. Go get it. Go buy it. Just do it. Like the Palpatine. Just do it.
I remember that day you guys in chat, you guys are all pushing each other to do it. There's one left in stock, man. Like,
dude, okay, and
take my money.
So you can see the effects of peer pressure happen in slow motion.
And now we have 4.
So I reading what Poi sent me yesterday, where I got it from. I got it from Phoenix Tactical, and I remember I phoned them that day. I said, you know what? I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to treat myself. I've been working hard. I work hard. I have, I can afford to get it. And I phoned them beforehand, and I said, hey, do you have any MWS back in stock? And he's like, yeah, we have 3. I said, okay. And that was it. And then I got there, and I went to Phoenix, and the guy who was at the store at the time, Kenny is his name, really nice guy, Phoenix. You guys should check it out. It's a really nice store. They're really nice people there. He had one set aside for me. I didn't even ask. He just had it set aside. He's like, are you here for the MWS Mark 18? I said, yeah. He's like, I got it right here for you.
That's good customer service.
That's
right
good.
there,
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, let's reel it back here.
Yeah. Sorry, Poi. Go. Yeah.
It's all good. So is that? I'm guessing that's your first TM gun that you owned then.
That's my first TM gun.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right. So we'll reel it in here quickly with Virus, also known as Henry, also known as Virus. I keep getting it backwards, guys. Sorry. I just know you guys by your online personas. Yeah, so go ahead. So, how did you get started in airsoft, or how long have you been playing in airsoft? How long, when did you start? What's your favorite airsoft gun? And, do you have any other TM guns other than MW?
Yeah, I think out of all of us here, I think I'm the youngest with the airsoft experience. I mean, I started playing November 2021.
Wow, very
I think
young.
that that's when we first like met and everything. Yep.
Yeah. So my first gun was a Crytek. Basically, what
Good
trigger
choice.
would push for a new guy. So I'm like, okay, sure. And then my brother had caught wind of it, so he's like, all right, well, here you go. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So got that started, and then my buddy he has his AR paperweight, an AR-15 paperweight now. So it just sits around. I visit him and we just play around with him. I'm like, how can I get something that's similar to it, but not, be a felon? So from there, I did some research and then came across the Mark 18. So with that, I mean, I do like Japanese products. They kind of know their stuff, right? So they're either top of the line or they're two spec or whatever. So I'm like, okay, fine. And then we got this chat going on with Raisin and Tom and going on. I was like, hey, who's gonna buy first? Well, I don't know. Phoenix has them. They're like, he has 8. No, he has 3 now. Like, how is that possible?
Starting to see a pattern here with all of you guys.
You guys are pushing each other. You're terrible.
100%.
Sorry,
very aggressive group.
Egging each other on, and then
At least
finally,
it's not
all right,
drugs.
screw it. Oh, well, you should see my day job then. But
Hey, I'm egging guys in my day job to buy MWS.
Yeah, and no. So out of all of them, I was like, you know what? I'll pull the trigger. I'll get it first. When I got it, Phoenix, same place, and then it was all greasy on the wall. I'm like, okay, well, at least they take care of it, I guess. They were finding the boxes on the bottom of the stack. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. It's all good. So picked it up, went home. So that was my first TM gun, first real gas blowback. So that was like a month after I got my Crytek. So that escalated really fast. And then from there, my favorite gun is still actually my Crytek.
Oh, okay.
I've converted to an HPA. Yeah, it's now an HPA and it has a Block 2 rail on it and a KC suppressor. So we're moving in that direction. But it's a sport because every time I'm tracking the calories I'm burning, but it's also a hobby. I mean, when I get home, my wife's like, "So did you get past 4,000?" Oh yeah, okay, I did. Okay, chill. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Good, it's a sport for you. I'll reel it back to the other guys here because I wanted to ask: is airsoft a sport or a hobby for you? Let's go backwards here again with Dennis. What is it for you?
I think it can be a sport, but for me, it's just kind of a hobby. It's like gives me something to spend money on. Not that I need any more things to spend money on, but that's generally what a hobby is for me. It's something for me to kind of take my mind off work. I don't really think about work too much, but I tell my girlfriend that it's a good stress reliever, so it's a hobby for me.
All right, and let's go with Chuck here. Go ahead.
What was Sporby or what? For me, I like to do something physical on the weekends. I have my options. Like I also do like sport fighting, so it's like sometimes I do that, and then I give airsoft the rest, and sometimes I do airsoft and give the sport fighting stuff the rest. So for me, it's like being able to get active on the weekend is great. And I suppose the hobby side of it comes exactly as Janice said, something to spend my money on, and like. Literally, if I get new packages coming in with like parts, it's like Christmas. It's like ooh, I can start tinkering with this now, and then that's a good way to stress relief.
Okay, and what about you, Tom?
I'm gonna throw a curveball and say both for me because it's a nice like Dennis and Alistair said, it's a nice hobby to come out on weekends and do something for fun that you like. That you do in your off time, but I also see it as a sport because you take it seriously and you treat it like with respect and you want to do good and have fun at the same time. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question, but that's me.
It's not really a question, more suggestive, because
Sorry.
because I just
sorry.
the reason we asked that question is we love to hear what what airsofters think, how they started, what the first gun was and stuff, because it's just a typical sort of Panther Airsoft folding table talk question that we get, because we want to hear what where you guys come from and what it means to you. But enough about that. Thank you for all the introduction. Let's get into the meat of the topic here. So we're talking about the Tokyo Marui MWS system. All four of you are basically valid owners of a system. So we're going to start off with some topics here that we're going to cover. So we're going to start off with, I'll tell you the overview here. So we're going to do research, before purchasing your MWS, what kind of research you've done. Then afterwards, purchasing, the decision that was made to purchase. And then afterwards, it's performance, and then build quality, internals, maintenance, and accessorizing and stuff like that. And then we'll end it. There's and HPA as well. And then so let's get started with research. So any one of you guys here, before purchasing your MWS, TM MWS, where, when, where, and how did you find out about the MWS? Anyone can jump in, and then we'll just go from there.
So.
Yeah, go ahead. Good.
So I basically, as I said before, I was actually looking for a prop, but then I found it on Trigger when I realized that there was a difference between HGs and like gas blowbacks. So like I was like, hey, let's give this like gas blowback deal a go, and just by coincidence, the MWS was the first platform. In fact, actually, this is it. But I've since modified it a lot since then. Nice. So yeah, like in terms of I guess like influence, it definitely has colored my idea of what a GBBR is actually capable of.
Okay.
Yeah, and like since owning the MWS, I have actually owned or still own like WEs and GHKs.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So like especially depending on the build, like WEs tend to perform a lot worse during like cold seasons. GHKs actually I found actually performed pretty decently, like almost on par with the TM system. But again, like the reason why I go to GHK is because they offer gun platforms that TM doesn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me stop you there. Anyone else want to jump into where, when, and how did you find out about your, MWS before you purchase it?
Yeah, sure, I'll go. I knew about the TM, like the MWS or ZET system, like way back, like 8 years ago, like when they first announced it, because they were saying like everyone was talking about all the old forums, like Airsoft Canada forums. They're saying, oh, this like TM's finally going to release a GBBR. Because back then I wanted to get a GB gas blowback rifle, and I wasn't sure because back then the popular ones were like the KJW, like the Tanyo Koba, or whatever. I don't want to butcher his name. Or like the WE. And then if you're really baller, you would get like the Inokatsu.
Expensive.
And then there's talks about, oh, TM's gonna release their GBBR anytime now. So I just pretty much just kept waiting for that. And then eventually I got tired of waiting and just never bought a gas blowback rifle until now, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. And all right. And anyone else want to jump in here for when, where, and how did you find out about the MWS system? Tom or
I think Chuck really touched upon it. In December it was kind of cold. So I basically researched which one would be the best performing, like Type 98 or Type 89 magazine on a TM should be doing well in like 2, 3, 4 degrees and cold. So that's kind of where it sold me, and then did further research, like, TM's parts and its internal is more robust and durable. So I'm like, okay, compared it to GHK and VFC, and Raisin had his VFC in the cold temperature. I'm like, no, not doing that. And sorry, trash it there, Raisin, but yeah. So that's the research I did on. It's based strictly on the cold because I'm Northwest. But
so
yeah.
you're thinking the seasonal stuff. Okay. All right. And Tom.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah.
How I got mine, like I said earlier, it was through friends who said you have to buy this
Gotcha.
because I like I didn't buy it just off one person. Like I said, Virus and Raisin, they both kind of helped me, sway me to buy it, because for me, like, how do I say it? Per my trade, I buy things that will last me,
Yep.
a long time, right?
Yep.
Because, so and I know per the internals, you have to, you have to upgrade them over time, which is fine. But the durability and the quality you get when you buy it, it's really, really satisfying.
Gotcha. Okay. So I guess this is a question for previous GBBR owners here. When before purchasing it, did you already have a GBBR before? And then, have you researched other GBBRs as well? And which ones did you research? Anyone wants to jump in on that one?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So before my MWS, I had a Poi, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it WeTech or is it WE? What do you say?
I just call it. I used to call it
It's either
WeTech back
or.
then. It's either or. Yeah.
Either or. Okay.
Yeah.
I purchased a WE Apache MP5.
Woo! Hot.
I'm sure. Okay. I'm sure you see. I've posted in the chat before. I might get banned for saying this. I just traded it last night.
What the hell,
Ooh.
dude? Why?
I said the exact same thing to him. I said the exact
For
same thing
what?
to him.
Okay, it
Look
better
at
be
it.
better. Okay,
Okay,
no,
okay.
you better tell me
For
right
cry
now.
crack.
For the
Carry for
cry
BFC.
crack?
Okay. I won't get in. If you want to,
disappointed in you.
Exactly. See, I told you. I told him. I told him.
no,
I tried to tell him not to do it.
Dennis
He did it.
already told me.
Fact.
Okay,
I still
if you
like
want to
you.
talk to me about it after, I had good
We were
reason.
definitely going to
it's okay.
discuss this.
So gotcha. You had a Wii, Apache, MP5.
Yes.
Those are lovely guns.
Mm-hmm.
I know,
Very fun.
and it was very nice. And
Yeah.
you know what? And then it was very nice. But when I got the MWS, the funding was more prioritized for future references for the MWS.
Gotcha.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
all right,
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Because my dream GBBR was an M4. Okay.
Yeah.
And that has reason to go with the trade. Okay, you can rant on me all you want.
It's okay. I'm just
It's all
judging
good.
you with my
I
eyes.
know.
Good
okay.
cause.
All right. Anybody
Okay.
else owned a GBBR before? And what kind of research have you done on it before looking into MWS?
Yeah, I guess I'll chime in. The MWS is probably my third GBBR.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
third GBR system. I had a WE like way back, like maybe 5 years ago. I only had that thing for maybe 6 months, and then I sold it just because funding was kind of all over the place, and I was kind of getting out of airsoft. I was just bored of it at the time. So my experiences with that was pretty limited. It worked pretty well, but I didn't really put much money into it. And then I bought probably like near the start of fall last year, I bought a VFC URGI from Trigger. So I'll show it. It's this thing
let's
right
see.
here.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a VFC URGI. This is my favorite gun in my entire
Is the
collection.
bolt still heavy on it?
That's dope.
So I can talk more about this now or later. It doesn't matter. Like, do you guys care if I start talking about this thing?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
no,
go ahead.
ahead.
This is the research you did before you got into.
So
it.
this
Yeah.
is the
This is
research.
great.
This
Why
is
did
the-
you go MWS?
Yeah.
Well, so the reason why this is my favorite gun and also my most hated gun is because stock, this thing was garbage. This was like the worst gas blowback rifle you could ever buy. I'm pretty
Sounds
sure
like
it's
a
because I had a,
VSR-10.
yeah, I think it's because I had a lemon, because all my friends who own gas blowback rifles, especially VFCs, they've had great.
That's why I asked
things
you.
about them.
That's why I asked you about the bolt carrier. A lot
Yeah.
of it was like I've seen it crack. I've seen it like break apart, and most of the time it was too heavy to carry that whole damn thing like through. So that like when I used to like fix people's like VFC stuff, I'm like, why is this like this? And then looked it up and told them, "Is like, okay, you need a new bolt carrier," and then they would go to the manufacturer and buy bolt carriers, and then they had an Excel sheet with every customer's name on it. I'm like, wow, this is very secure.
Yeah, so this thing was stock, and then everything on this, not everything, most of the important things broke. So this bolt carrier isn't a stock bolt carrier anymore because the stock one did crack. It was pretty bad that like the nozzle came out of the carrier and just got stuck. So this is a Crusader bolt carrier. It's steel. And Crusader is actually OEM by VFC. If you guys didn't know that. What else cracked? The hop-up unit. I guess you can't really see it, but the hop-up unit also cracked.
Yeah,
ooh, that
those are typical issues when I hear VFC right away.
So in this, I have a GBL cap. It's called the Captain America or Captain hop-up. That thing is amazing because it uses standard VSR 10 buckings.
Oh, nice.
What else wasn't good on this? The hammer spring on this stock was way too stiff. So cold efficiency was like non-existent. Like at under 10 degrees, like over 5 degrees and under like 15, this thing wasn't cycling. I could barely get through a whole mag. Like it wouldn't go through a whole mag.
I wouldn't recommend it on winter either.
Yeah. But now after changing all those parts, it's been great.
That's good. That's good.
But that's why I kind of hate the thing, because stock, it was terrible, and all this stuff I had to do to it stock to get it to where I have it now, where I can play indoors or in the cold or outdoors, when it's hot in the summertime. And that took a long time, and it's finally there. So I decided to buy pretty much like most people. I was like, I want to get gas blowback rifle that's good for the winter time, like when it's 0 degrees.
You want to play all season.
Exactly. I want to play all season. And so I did a lot of research. Probably one of the best YouTubers for gas blowback research would be Badabing, I believe. He did a really good comparison on all like the main systems, like the GHK, the VFC, and the MWS or ZET. And the ZET was just like by far the best if you weren't using CO2 mags on the GHK. But for green gas / propane, the ZET was the best. You could run it at 0 degrees or even minus 5, and the bolt will lock back. So that's pretty much why I bought it. Just for the cold.
Okay. Anyone else did like own a GBBR and did their research with that before getting an MWS? No. Okay. We'll just continue on here.
I did my research and listened and watched all these guys, and I bought another Wheat Tech M4.
You took the path of me.
I've got like 20 Wii mags, okay, guys? I'm like way too far into that.
I got 35.
That's a big factor.
So one thing I'm hearing is like each one of you guys have mentioned something different, but the commonality I'm hearing is that you guys are choosing this platform because of its feature to be able to be played in the winter time.
In the winter time, yeah.
Like was that one of your guys' biggest factors when it comes to a GBB? Like this one's in particular as well when choosing it?
Yeah, like I'd say the temperature, it was the biggest factor. But there's a reason why I have 3 gas blowback rifles now, and I'm gonna have a 4th soon. But there's a reason why I'm keeping like my VFC, and I'm also keeping my TM, because like I'll get into it later when we start talking about performance, but pretty much there's a reason why I need a gun for the cold, and then I'll need a gun when it's not cold.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And for everybody here, was the price a big factor? Let's start it off. Like when you saw when you did your research, you looked it up, you're like, ooh, how much is it?
I think
I mean, let's be honest, you guys own an MWS.
Chuck, were you able to write it off?
Actually, yeah, it was.
Oh, you did.
Oh, I was able to expense it. Yeah.
Buy my gun. Buy my gun.
Yo, can I give you my receipts?
Yo, Chuck, I got a set of cries. I need you to just.
Yeah.
Can I chime in?
Chalk it up for research.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was swayed to buy mine, I couldn't just go out and get it. I had to sell a lot of things to help fund it because it was expensive. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was expensive at once.
It's yeah, and off topic, I own a lot of guitars. I sold like 4 guitars to help fund it.
How much per guitar?
They weren't much, but they were like worth. They sat around. I had so many. They just sat
Gotcha.
around. So I, you know, and this is now my current hobby that I love a lot. That a lot of everybody loves this chat. So that it helped, but at the end of the day, it was still a lot.
Yep.
So, but do I
that's
regret
good.
it? No, I don't.
That's good to note. So the currency conversion is 4 guitars, guys. Now I know.
Okay, all
Four
right.
guitars.
There we go.
Depends what you have.
You know, it's like 1 cow, 4 guitars, like
1
3
car?
stars.
I'm sure given given enough luck, you can probably barter your way to MWS.
100%.
Yeah,
Like a
exactly.
paperclip,
Yeah, you can.
A lady got a
Definitely can.
house.
Definitely can.
So like Henry, like was the price a big factor for you, or like no problem, you could just like buy it right away?
I think the real question, Poi, is what did your wife say?
Ah, yes. What did she say?
She doesn't know. So, yeah, no, she doesn't know anything.
And
about
it's-
it.
we got guys, we got video
Girlfriend
evidence. Let's go.
Yeah. Like
I had to sleep on it for sure.
Yeah, of course.
And, but yeah, no, just knowing that the build and the name behind TM, I was getting quality for it. And also the peer pressure I felt, you know, okay,
Good
well,
job,
it's gonna
guys.
be
Good
worth
job.
it. So
The community is
and-
good and bad. Eh?
kind of just drove me off a cliff, you know, thought about it afterwards, like, yeah, no, it should be fine. And
Okay.
then just moved on.
Yeah, so did you
Try
guys
once,
buy?
right?
It is
you
now
guys
an
buy-
investment.
Yeah, did you guys buy the like your battle set of or your battle loadout for like the mag set? Because like Chuck, I know you have the multiple platforms, so you already had multiple magazines, but for you guys that have like the one MWS, did you guys just go in there and get like 2 mags, or like how many mags we pack in here? Because I already told you guys I got like 20 Wii mags. Okay, I want to know if we do a GBB game this summer, Poi. I want to know, what's my edge? Do I have one or do I not?
Mac will just end up throwing the mags at you. So I just straight up went and got like 5 right
5
away.
with it. Okay. Yeah.
And how much is it per mag? I just reminded everybody their pain.
Yeah, this is a PTSD going on. No, the make Phoenix was Trigger was slightly more expensive.
$10 more.
Yeah, $10 more. And then for the third, the 3, 4th, and 5th one, I got price match because Phoenix came into stock, and I was there anyway. So yeah, no, I got 5 right off the bat.
Nice.
Not bad. That's not bad at all.
Sounds like it's very much like Sony PlayStation. Here's the PlayStation. Now here are the games.
I got lucky actually because like I initially had a load of maybe 4 mags, but then I when I got my second MWS, I actually got it as part of a bundle, so I got 6 mags from the seller.
Nice.
So
Okay, Chucky boy Rich here.
Yeah,
All right.
Man's carrying 300 rounds on him. Let's go.
Yeah, no, plus like
He's writing it off.
There was like not anymore, but yeah,
Don't lie.
like
The cat's out of the bag, man.
there's been a whole bunch of like aftermarket mags that I was just curious in, so like
Okay.
buying them one at a time. There's I think like 4 or 5 brands of PMags now, so
Really?
it has taken my mag count up slowly because of that, but
The shipping
like,
cost on that is ridiculous.
is not good.
That's kinda right.
And also like some of the PMags work better than others as well, but
Okay.
still the best mag is still the stock mag. Which is,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay.
All right. Moving
yeah.
on to the next topic.
Yeah, purchasing. So, readily available. Was it readily available for you guys, or did you have to wait, or was it you have to buy it? Like I heard Phoenix Tactical, so I'm guessing you guys went there. But anyone else have an experience buying it outside of like the Lower Mainland or anything like that?
Nope.
Nope,
I
everybody
think
bought locally.
three of
All
us
local.
all bought
Trigger.
from the same place,
Oh,
and
okay.
Alistair is the only one that bought from somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, trigger. Yeah.
So,
Trigger?
so
Okay.
I guess my question would be then, if you guys didn't have that choice of, buying it readily available locally, would you guys go through the process of importing it?
No.
Not at this time, no.
If so, well, the TM no, because the TM
Mhm.
doesn't even shoot hot enough.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
but in theory, if it did, I would have no problem like driving like I would probably buy it from the States and then have it shipped to somewhere in the States and drive it across, because
Mhm.
I have no problem declaring it and importing it like local, like by myself.
Mhm.
But because it's almost impossible to do it because the TMs don't shoot hot, because these guns were made for duster gas, so they
Right.
only shoot like 330 even with propane, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not something I ever considered because of the TM.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So very
but-
much chancing.
But the good thing, like locally, like outside of like local shops like in BC or the lower mainland, there are plenty of other shops like in Canada that do sell the ZET system. Like Andy's Airsoft is probably like the next biggest one, and he gets regular shipments of the. I don't know if it's not the CQBR one, but it's just like the standard M4A1, like with the rail system. I don't know, like the wrist. I think
Like
it's
like the block
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the
Yeah,
block one, but it's the carbine
basically,
version.
or CQ.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
block one of a carbine length.
So no one's imported. Everything's done from the store. Okay, makes sense. All right, and I guess let's hit everybody's nerve here in PTSD. How much did you pay for yours?
Ooh. Here we go. What's the numbers?
All right, just
Show me the
anybody who
receipt.
wants to jump
Okay.
in, do it.
I got a discount because I flashed my
What?
badge, so I got like 5% off, or I forgot, it's 5 or 7% off. So I bought the gun and 3 extra mags, so I have 4 total. So I paid like $12.50 I think after tax.
Ooh.
Fuck, work.
Bro,
press,
what's your
work
discount?
press.
All right, Alistair, go. Let's hear it. Let's hear the price.
From Trigger, I don't think they actually changed the prices on it, but I paid about 900 for
Just the gun?
Just
the
the
gun.
base gun, yeah.
Gotcha.
exactly.
So extra max, yeah.
Okay. And Virus, what about you?
Yeah.
Make
just
sure your
after
wife's
tax.
not listening.
Oh wow, no. Yeah, about 1086.
Mm,
Okay.
Yeah, with your battle loadout and then the guns as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. And Tom, I want to know who paid the most. Okay.
Wait, no, Henry,
Okay.
you paid more than 1086 for like that and all the mags.
No,
didn't you?
not including the mag. It's
Oh,
just
okay,
straight up
not
the gun.
including-
Sorry.
Straight
What?
up the gun.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm in
After
the hole
taxes.
Oh no, Tom.
then. I'm in the
what-
hole.
Oh, God, Tom,
oh.
what did you?
All right,
how many
let's
mags
hear.
did
Let's
you
hear.
get?
Well, I know 1086 is just the gun because
Yeah.
I went there. Okay, so before I bought it, I went there the weekend prior or 2 weekends prior. 1086 was the like flat price, like you pay that.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, after tax. Okay.
Yeah. And then I bought 3 mags. Pretty a few weeks later, my buddy went and picked 3 mags up for me. The 3 mags were about $250 for me.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're looking at like 12 something, just under 300.
Yeah, I'm just about that plus the stuff I put on it now, the fancy shit.
Oh no. Sorry,
my
you don't get
language.
to include that stuff in your equation.
Okay, but yeah, so say about 12,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
13 almost.
Wow. And that's with taxes and everything, right?
This is serious.
That
yeah, serious
roughly,
amount.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any buyer's remorse from anybody?
No.
No. Not once?
I regret my purchase.
Oh. But you still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll still use it.
Too late.
I just
It's
don't
too
like
late
it,
now.
you know?
What
I
yeah.
I'm gonna
absolutely
regret
hate
whatever.
that this works in the cold. Like,
All right. So now that we got that out of the way, I'm glad everybody has it. I mean, you wouldn't be here without purchasing it. You guys took the dive for everybody else in the community.
tell it, it's worth it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Performance. Let's take this out for a spin. What was it like shooting it for the first time? Like let's hear it from someone here. How was it?
I started. It was pure joy. Coming from AG and then
Yeah.
just having something hit you. right?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to repeat that because the chart here says disappointment,
hopes and dreams. Don't forget hopes and dreams.
And hopes and dreams.
And hopes and dreams.
Oh
yeah.
no, I'm gonna rip into this, no problem. But like the very first experience of that recoil was great, right?
Okay.
And then
this is your first GBBR as well, right?
Recoil.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh wow. Okay. Good choice. Good choice.
Dennis.
I'm the same as stars, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah, keep going. So
Yeah,
that was a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it was a great experience because before I did the KWA Ronin 10 or something like that, and then that one was just kind of like, oh okay, that's it. So this recoil really took me out and winded down me and just took me to bed there. So loved it. And then other than that, I gutted the crap out of it. So it's but Raisin and I would combine our purchases from Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And we basically ripped through the internals because first thing to go was the nozzle. And we would, I add weights to it. So the recoil feels more.
Nice.
Robust.
To the buffer, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just added more weight to the buffer tube?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I mean, I can list the whole, like there's a new bolt carrier, new nozzle, new buffer tube, new buffer spring. The charging handles changed. What else? And the next is the gear, the trigger box.
Did you even play it before you even started upgrading it?
Oh, I played it once and then I just ripped through it.
Jesus. He was sold.
I need more.
Okay, I want to hear other people's experience here. First time, how was it? Let's hear it from the other guys here.
Well, here, let's ask Chuck, because Chuck, you bought it for work, right? You didn't play with it. So for you, it worked for your work purposes, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I think we all play with it. So
I think the biggest factor in making it so attractive once I actually started to use it was just the realism in function and also weight, because like AG magazines when empty they weigh like a feather, but like GBB mags, like stock TM like MWS mag weighs about 410 grams, I think. So it's like some say it's like comparable to like a fully loaded 30-round stack magazine. So like that proved to be very useful when trying to figure out body mechanics and like the simply the realism side of actually operating a weapon system like that, and how you can translate that into the context of like video game. But like but obviously firing it was like as Varus pointed out, pure joy, because like it's obviously not the same level of recoil as like a real AR, but it was close enough without you having to blow a hole in the office wall. Yeah. So
okay, all right. And for Tom, you said this wasn't your first. Did you have a gas blowback before?
Yeah, the MP5.
And how does it compare to your TM MWS? How did it compare?
I will say, on the record, that this is, it's stupid satisfying to shoot.
So that money you spent was well worth it then.
I do not regret any cent.
Okay, all right.
And it like playing with it is fun. It's like as I've said in the chat before, it is the full LARP factor.
Gotcha.
It is so much fun.
Okay, all right. And what about you, Dennis? You've owned. This is where the
well, I mean, it's not comparable to work, so he's just laughing and giggling the whole time.
No. Like in terms of airsoft, like honestly, like so there's like for the performance, I'd say the TM, like the ZET system, it performed extremely well. It's super efficient. The accuracy out of the box is really good, and I love the hop-up design. But in terms of like the feel, outside of the externals, because the externals are amazing, but the recoil is very, very underwhelming when compared to like other gas blowback rifles, like other gas blowback M4s, for example. Like the WE, it's pretty close to a WE. WE still kicks a bit more, but compared to my VFC, it's just like I don't know how to explain it. It feels like a toy.
Got
Like
it.
it really does. It like, and I'm not saying it's a bad system, but when you like compare the internals from a ZET M4 compared it to like a GHK or like a VFC or a Viper Tech, you kind of get why it feels like a toy, because all the internals are like either really soft metals or plastic. Like the buffer on the ZET is a plastic buffer tube. So like that already is like not gonna provide a lot of kick, and there's a reason why they use plastic. But yeah, like the recoil, the feel, it doesn't feel that nice. So I was kind of like, when I was shooting it, I was like, that's it. Like I was just kind of like, it was a very underwhelming experience. But performance wise, like using it in a game, in a skirmish, it was phenomenal, especially like the cold weather performance.
Gotcha.
But yeah, for the recoil, it's definitely like, I give it like
lackluster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like my pistol probably kicks more.
yeah. That being said, I mean, Poi, you and I would both have like a varying number of Wii pistols and then other pistols as well. And I find that the same with like my VFC Glock. Like honestly, has performed better than I've played with a TM Glock. I've played with Wii Glocks. You know, like the VFC one has a really nice seal.
Yeah. And,
So-
and sure, yeah, exactly. Well, I was just gonna say about the whole recoil feel. It's like, because we have Mac and I, we have both the Gen 1 and Gen 2 bolt carrier. So that's the hollow one as well as the one that they later filled with heavy metal. So you can kind of feel the recoil difference and whatnot. So it's just like if you've tried both of them, I would say that the TM one's kind of very comparable to like the Gen 1 bolt and whatnot without the added weight and whatnot. And I know that you can do the weight adding to both platforms. So it really depends. But like Dennis was saying, plastic buffer tube, probably definitely the first thing you kind of want to OEM and replace on there.
Yeah. So that actually segues into the next question here is the bolt carrier. A lot of people online complain about the MWS's bolt carrier because it sounds very not metal but plasticky. Do you guys have any complaints or gripes about that? Because when compared to, let's say, my Wii, which is like like a nice clack sound, or even a GHK, it's like a nice metallic sound when it comes forward, right?
You hear that where
like we'll save Dennis last because I know he has
It's like cha-ching,
he's got the VFC, but for you guys, first timers, let's start with the first timers with the GBB. I guess that's you, Virus. How did having that sound of the bolt carrier going forward and then backwards, and how does that sound? Like, you're muted too, by the way.
Sweet. Oh no. No, it was, lack of a better term, if it sounded crisp, right? There's not any oomph behind it. It was crisp, it was light. It cycled just fine, but it wasn't as dense. I shot Dennis's VFC. I'm like, what the F? Like, the difference was night and day, but the feel was there because I didn't have a reference of the VFC at the time. But it was crisp. It was light, breezy, crispy. That's it.
Yeah. All right. And what about for Tom? How did that feel for you? Like, hearing that bolt, it sounded plasticky or sounded different from,
For me, versus the MP5 I had, it sounded good. Like, again, I'm still pretty new myself for GBB.
Yeah.
But when I first, I got it home, and I went deep in my backyard where no one could see me, and I shot it, and I was like, wow, that sounds really cool. And it does sound plasticky, I will say. Yeah. But at the same time, it sounds really nice. But it's like a mixture,
Yeah.
Like, I'm no sound artist, obviously.
Yeah.
But it sounded good.
Okay. And for Chuck, what about you?
I again, because it was my first GBR, actually, that actually like it did. I did actually do a modification to the buffer soon after I got it, where I basically just got a really heavy buffer.
Okay.
Angry Gun had a
the Angry Gun buffer tube.
Yeah, had a I think called like super recoil 100 times.
Yeah,
super recoil.
Yeah. I actually thought about buying that kit for the Wii gun as well.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, like when you go from like plastic to what I feel like is like 200 grams of solid lead steel, like it actually, you know, made the experience a lot like more compelling. Because
it was definitely an audible feel to, you know, rather than a plastic clack to a metallic clack.
Exactly, yeah. And then the next improvement I did to it was actually get a more powerful spring, because
good idea. Yeah,
that really helped with obviously cycling, but also whenever you're like slapping the bolt release, you really felt that it riding forward as opposed to it going shoop.
Yeah, because they built the system so that there's less friction in the way. A lot of the Wii system runs off of like catching and friction.
Yeah.
The ZET system runs off of durability at that point, so that's why they're a little bit more softer. They have a lot more like bearings in terms of riding the bolt back and forth easily. I think that's where it comes to. That's why I noticed anyway when I did my research on it and felt it. And for Dennis there, let's hear your opinions on it, because you had a GBBR, you've had the M4 experience, you've had, you know, metallic parts, and you have the VFC. I know they sound a lot more metallic than all, like the VFC when I tried it, that sounded more metallic than my Wii. That's my opinion anyway.
Oh, it hammers home.
Yeah, it hammers home really well.
I really like.
That's probably why it breaks a lot.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like that's true. Like the ZET system, like don't get me wrong, it's a great system. Like the system itself is amazing. It's super smooth. So like that is something I do like about the ZET system. The bolt carrier, it just moves, it glides through the receiver and into the buffer. It just works super well. Like there's like, it's almost it feels frictionless compared to like the WA system that the VFC is based off of. The WA system, it's a more realistic system, whereas the ZET system, it's kind of like their own proprietary design. So you have all these like springs and clips and pins and bearings. They use a lot of bearings too. But yeah, like it is more plasticky, and that is probably just because, like, at least stock is more plasticky, is because they use so much plastic and softer metals, just to, like, I guess, increase the durability of the gun.
That's what it's known for. So
yeah, exactly. Like the durability is, I'd say, pretty good for what the gun is designed for.
So is that sacrifice good or bad for aesthetics, or, you know, whatever you want for plus points for having full metal?
I'd say it depends on like the type of, like, you know, replica you want. Like, do you really care about your realism? Like, how far do you want to go to that realism, where like you're sacrificing like your performance? Because how good, like, I love my VFC, but like how good do you want your gun to sound or operate, where you hit a point where you can't even use it anymore, right? Like, or like the BBs are just dropping at like 10 feet in front of you. So there's got to be a balance. And I'd say, I don't think the MWS is really balanced. I'd say it's very, like, I'd say the other way. It's really front just heavy. For performance. Yeah, you just want that for performance. Like, realism, it's there. It has like the manual of arms that like a normal AR will have, like the bolt catch, your charging handle, your safety, everything. But in terms of like the actual feel, it is very like on the bottom end of what an AR feels like.
Okay, all right, so let's jump into this season. Performance, summer, winter. You guys all bought it because, you know, we live up here in the great, you know, like, it's cold, and you guys are buying it because you want it to perform in wintertime. For you guys running it in summertime and wintertime, is there a noticeable difference in performance when it comes to, like, you know, like BB, FPS, and like gas? What do you have to vary? Are you changing it up in the wintertime? Is there something that you got to do to, you know, winterize it a little bit more? Let's hear it from you guys.
I think we'll give this to Chuck, because he's the only one who's owned the ZET system for summer.
Oh yeah.
Oh okay. Really? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, you guys are relatively new into this.
Yeah, we all bought this in December.
Yeah. So it was your fault.
Yeah. What's the opposite of sweet summer child?
Yeah.
Anyway. So like I like during summer, that was probably when I would run the heavier like spring and heavier buffer, basically because I like realism, like sometimes at the cost of like performance. So like if the weather conditions are good enough for like gas expansion and all that jazz, I would certainly try to tune my weapon so it just kicks like a mule. But then during winter, I have noticed that because of those like particular heavier spring and the heavier buffer, like I don't get as much like gas efficiency just takes a nosedive.
Yep.
And sometimes to a point where I can't even go through full mag. So on one fill. So I did actually get a lighter spring, or I think it's very similar to like the stock spring, and reverted back to the plastic buffer for winter, and I've gotten a lot of good results out of that. Like I ran my full size M16 a few times during December without any issue. So,
wow, that's impressive actually. At no FPS loss or distance or anything like that, or an accuracy?
I believe I hit a distance. I did get a distance hit. But FPS seems to be fairly similar. It runs at about like 410.
Okay.
420. Like especially because of the super long in the barrel in
gotcha.
In and out.
And okay, as far as BB weights for everybody, what's everybody using for the MWS? I know you guys have been using it for winter time, but yeah, Chuck, if you want to start off with just summertime BB weights, what were you using?
Now when I played in the summer, I was still relatively new, so I think I was running like just 0.2s then, like off the bat, but now I run like 0.28s.
Okay.
I do have a few bags of 0.32s that I'm probably gonna like switch into, but I probably want to just finish the rest of my 2.8s before I change up.
Okay.
To be fair, also running 2.8s is good because the heaviest traces I could find were 2.8s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So at some point, especially like running night games, I would love to salt and pepper and some traces and get that muzzle flash unit on as well. It's gonna be
as someone who's run night games with a tracer unit and the gas muzzling out of the front with the light,
the blaster.
It's freaking
so
beautiful.
So hot.
Yeah, I hit that one time where I ambushed an entire group, and just seeing the tracers go and your gas at the front just light up feels beautiful. And then I got killed. Anybody else? BB weights? What are they using for their system?
I'm using like 2.8s.
2.8s? Okay.
Just because I find that, I mean, 3s are okay too, but I'm mostly using 2.8s because if you go anywhere over like 0.3, the stock like hop up chamber on the MWS, from my experience, doesn't really hop it that well. And also I've read that like if you go like 3.2 or higher, it struggles with hopping heavier BBs. And because the stock MWS, it doesn't shoot very far or very fast, so it's like I think it's around like 328 stock on propane. So when you're using heavier BBs, the BBs just fly so much slower.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
like the guy could probably see you shooting at him and just like walk
Move
away.
it away.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a little bit more on the heavy side. Henry, what about you?
Originally, I tried the 3.0s on it, and then I wasn't getting what I liked out of it. So I'm switched to 2.5s because also that's the tracer BBs I'm running as well.
Okay.
So yeah, I stuck with 2.5s, kept it nice and light.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Is it faster, you think?
Yeah. For that, I haven't had many hop up issues with that. 0.3s, they was a little sluggish. But so I stay with the 2.5s. It's fine faster. FPS wise is pretty happy with it.
Okay.
So yeah.
And Tom, what about you?
I started with 0.2s because that's all I used for like starting out.
Okay.
And then I think it was not last weekend, about 2 weekends ago, I showed up to Panther to sign in and play, and I said, hey, do you have 0.3s? And I asked about my gun. I said, hey, I got this gun, MWS. and the staff was like, you could run 0.28 or 0.3. I said, okay, I'll try 0.3. And like Virus said, and Raisin, at 0.3 stock, it's slower. I noticed I have to lob higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I'll try 0.25 next, because my gun is full stock inside internal.
Yeah.
So it's something to experiment with for me.
If I may add, actually, like there are obviously internal mods that you can do to help like lift heavy BBs better. Like the easy one is actually like changing the stock arm nub. So it's either bigger or more or less squishy. So it means that you basically get a lot more pressure pushing onto the hub.
That also depends on the temperature too, right? Yeah. So yeah, a lot of you guys, I know you're using it winter. I'm sure 3s are gonna do well in the summertime. That's not a problem. But yeah, as a GBBR user for all these years, my best recommendation for winter is always 2 5s. Even in the summertime, I use 2 5s on my GBBR and my Wii's. I tend to just run up and get close quarters with a GBB because I'd rather get the speed going rather than lobbing it, in long distances. I know I can't rely on my Wii for long distances. I'm going to be honest with that, because it's not like your system where it's a lot more efficient. I have a lot more gas expelling out. So yeah, all right. So an average of 2 5s to all the way up to 3. You can't go anything heavier than that. I think you guys have it there. Let's jump into this build quality. Unless you guys have MacTac, you guys have anything for performance that you want to ask?
Well, like with my with our GBBs, when I'm not running the HPA drum mag with it, I'm running 3 2s to 2 8 like 2 8. I mostly run 3 2s because that's like the best performance that I get out of it. But it's also because I haven't really tried it with the shorter barreled 416. But with the longer barrel,
we just grabbed it this winter, so we're gonna try it out this summer. So
so with the longer barreled 416, I can achieve like 410, 415 FPS. So with that advantage, with the gas gun, I have the capability of running heavier weight BBs without like running into the same factor that the other guys do. But like knowing these guys, the TM, in my opinion, has a way better hop up system. Like Poi, you can agree with me that stupid Allen key hop up design sucks,
down the whole gun.
But it is also the best when it comes to like keeping consistent accuracy. So
it takes me a couple of months until it goes off for a bit.
So it's a hit or miss. So that's when it comes to us, is that that's where you can, that's what we do.
And this is me using a maple leaf bucking too. So
exactly.
It's still not going to perform as great as you guys. I can tell you that you guys are way better.
It could be a combo of different things and stuff like that, but
there's a lot of factors. All right, so Mac, you got anything? Are you good?
No.
Okay,
that's basically
let's do it. Build quality, guys. TM is known for plastic, making plastic feel like metal. How is the build quality for you guys in terms of, has anybody actually dropped their MWS yet, or would you rather break your spine?
I don't think I have. But
I mean, why would you? It's expensive.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, like I'd rather throw.
I'd rather break my spine than.
Like I guess out of the bat, all the receiver is actually like cell coded, so that is actually out of the box extremely nice. Like it doesn't feel like I'm touching raw metal or anything. It's like the light can actually catch it, but it's like nice and matte in terms of its like finish, right? And like this is the one that I own since like 2018, and I don't see any very visible scratches aside from when I attempted to like take out the trigger box and went at it with a hammer. So like honestly, from field use, I'm very, very happy with like how it's actually built.
So does it feel plasticky to you, or does it like is it just standard TM?
Standard TM. I mean, I believe their rifles tend to be a lot better. Well, less plasticky than the pistols. Although I can't say the same about their AK though.
They're very good at simulating metal for some reason, and they're really good at that. Anyone else? How is the build quality for you guys? You know, how does that plastic metal feel?
Well, I mean, as in terms of like the MWS or at least the Mark 18 that I have, everything that's metal on like I guess a normal AR is metal, and everything that's plastic is plastic.
Okay.
So the build quality, honestly, I'd say it's like one of the best, if not the best, like normal GBBR, other than like a Viper Tech, I guess.
Okay.
But compared to like VFC, GHK, WE, the build quality on these is phenomenal. Like the Cerakoting is probably, honestly, the Cerakoting is probably hiding a lot of the issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
So who knows what metal these receivers are made out of? It could be like just some really bad die cast metal, but the Cerakote hides a lot of probably
the imperfections. Yeah.
Exactly, right. So I'd say because they Cerakoted it, it just brings it up just like a whole nother level. In terms of receiver wobble, there's no receiver wobble.
Okay.
Probably again like the Cerakote probably filled in whatever gaps there was. So this thing has no wobble. I've had other like GBRs that have tons of wobble. My VFC URGI included. I have a VFC M27 as well that has no wobble, but this thing is just like on another level. It is like so solid. Like there's barely any flex in the barrel as well, and it's not even a steel barrel.
Okay.
It's just some
and
TM die cast, right?
I guess a question for you is: you've handled the real steel AR before? How is the weight on it?
My thing's a pig. I'd say it weighs about the same. Like everything I have on my Mark 18 now, like all the attachments, probably weighs similar to like a standard AR-15.
A bare bones one?
Wow.
Yeah, like a bare bones AR-15.
Okay.
Pretty close. I mean, it's like an AR is still slightly heavier, but it's getting there. I mean, like this thing, like the rail on this thing is so heavy.
Okay, all right, and yeah, go ahead.
On my full size M16 actually, I did change the entire front receiver. It's like a GMP it's like an M5 brass from the product description, but it's basically a full size M16 barrel.
Full metal then.
Full metal.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And like that weighs like a ton.
Yeah.
And I had to and I guess because of the nature of how the locking system works, I have not received any like wobble. And it feels like it can certainly take the extra weight.
Gotcha.
So I mean that's what I got like confidence in. Yeah.
All right, and Tom, for you, how does build quality feel? Like, does the metal plastic feel good for you? You know,
I would put plastic out of the question, to be honest with you.
Really? Okay.
Because as Raisin Dennis said, my cousin owns a real steel AR-15.
Okay.
And I've held it and I've functioned with it, and it feels like the same. Like when I first went to Phoenix to buy this, and the guy took it off the wall to show me, I was like, dude, this is so sick. Like this is awesome. It felt like, when you have this in your hands, it feels proper.
Solid. Okay.
So.
Okay, so it overall it's good for you then. So I guess TM really just nailed it in the wall, saying that we gotta make it as realistic as possible, and they did it to whatever their laws are capable of, right?
Yeah, and like the most like efficient way possible, right? With like, it's obviously like everyone's saying, right? It has its pros and cons, but like they definitely maximize the efficiency factor. Like I get jealous when I see them getting to play in the wintertime, and then I gotta go get the HPA drum mat.
Yeah. Okay? And then you're like, ha ha ha.
Trust me, I would much rather be crawling prone with just a mag than a hose and a mag.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I will say though that there are, I think, like there's one particular point of failure that has been pretty well documented within the MWS owners community, which is like basically it's like just where the buffer tube actually connects to the lower receiver. There has been an issue where repeated like repeated, I think, knocking and also like improper maintenance might actually cause the top of it to actually crack, because it's not a lot of metal that's kind of sitting there.
Right.
But replacing is actually quite easy. So
Okay.
Okay.
All right, and then let's I guess quickly for everybody here, price tag worth it for the big like for the build quality? Was it worth it at that point?
Yep.
I'm guessing a general yes for
So
everybody.
fast.
Yep.
Oh, Dennis, here we go.
I actually, my honest opinion is I don't think the Mark. So like we bought the Mark 18. So me, Henry, and Tom. I personally do not think the Mark 18 was worth the 1,000, because like I think it's $1,000.
Right, so the pricing's a little off.
Yeah,
it's more expensive than the base.
Yeah.
Yes, but for
1080 all in for the Mark 18 just base, I don't think it's worth it, because you have to do so much like internally, but even externally, I think the metal, like the metal that TM makes their stuff out of, it's not very strong metals. For example, the screws are very soft, like metal. The barrel nut on the Mark 18, it's a very soft barrel nut. Like, so the Mad Bull, like Daniel Defense Mark 18 rail is much more, like much superior compared to like the TM one. And if you look at the pricing between the two, the Daniel Defense or the Mad Bull one is a lot cheaper than if you were to find like the Mark 18 rail by TM and to buy that. So externally, I don't think it's worth the price. So I would, if I go back in time, I'd buy like the base model and then build it up from there.
Right.
But I just think it's still a phenomenal like gun overall, but the price is just a little bit high for what you're getting.
For the Mark 18, I'm guessing you're saying, right?
Yeah, for the Mark 18, because like all the rails.
Does anybody know how much a base one is?
I think it's like $200 cheaper.
$200 cheaper?
Yeah, it's around $799, $800 depending on the store. On the store.
Wow. Okay, it's still expensive overall then. You
Okay.
gotta get real parts to it at that point. So, okay, all right. All right. I guess we're pretty solid on build quality then. Let's MacTac, do you guys have anything for build quality at this point?
Not really. Like I can't have much to say with build quality until I have my own hands on one, really.
Okay.
But
I mean, well, from what I've like heard and everything like that, is obviously TM built it for like, I mean, I know we use the word durability, but I wouldn't use that word paired with all the cheap metals or soft plastic parts. So I think it would the way I've listened to what you guys have said is that Togi Marui built it for longevity, because of those certain part selections and everything like that. It is streamlined to be able to work in the most efficient kind of way for that platform. And then it kind of because I really like a lot of how Dennis is breaking it down, where he's just saying like, it's not going to have that same impact. It's not like, because like, man, my WeTech gun slaps. I love my 416, right? But it needs to be anything above 10 degrees. If it's like seriously 9 degrees, will not work. It just won't work, right? And like even at 10 degrees, I can't spam my trigger, right? I have to be like 1 shot, okay, 2 shot, okay.
Let it cool down.
Like,
Let it cool down.
Like if you rush me around the corner, I'm screwed. Like, but yeah, so because like, boy, how many times have we butchered our WeTech guns to the point where you've literally looked at me like, what the hell did you do? And they're still alive. Like we brought them back, right? So
yeah. No, like I've dropped mine way too many times. So build quality for that, it's got a lot of wear and tear. It's got a lot of characteristics to it that I like and stuff like. It's got a lot of personality when it comes to wear and tear, right? So there is some battle damage to it. I've dropped it way too many times to even count. I've had videos with it.
I feel like with more age and wear, it works better.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
So I guess this bounces to the next topic, which is internals. But you know, I've kept it stock as much as I can. It other than the maple leaf bucking, that's it. I've kept it stock, and you know, the only thing I had to replace like constantly every year was the nozzle, because that's gonna go regardless, right? But I find that, you know, for your guys is like from what I heard from your MWS systems is like your stock nozzles on those things are like really good, right? Plastic, yes, but you know, I'm using a plastic one too for my Wii, and you guys have, you know, durability on your side, right? As far as Wii goes, like parts are cheap, replace it, right? That's what I do. Like I'll just replace it right away, you know. And now we're jumping into internals now. You know, is the proprietary system good or bad in your opinion for you guys?
I can start.
Let me get my old stock
I'm gonna go last on this one.
Okay, yeah. So if after a day of gaming and I come back and I clean the internals of my GUR, for any of my MWS rifles, including the Type 97, which is also based off the ZET system, I do not find metal shavings inside my.
He got us there.
Oh god.
He got us there. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Whereas with with the WE and even especially the GHKs, I'm like, wow, it's like someone went into this with a cheese grater. Right?
There's a file in there.
That's a file.
And I agree with you with that, with the metal shavings. There is, like, you know, Matt, Tack, you were saying the older it gets, the better it gets, right? Because of the wear.
Yeah, because of the wear.
You work it in.
When you work it in, that's what people don't understand when it comes, like we owners, right? They don't understand that, like, there is a certain point where, you know, there's a lot of maintenance that you got to do at the very beginning to get it, you know, all settled in, right? With your MWS systems, though, is different. You got bearings, literally on the bolt carrier, which is absolutely genius. And that prevents a lot of wear and tear. You're only wearing out the bearings at that point, and it gets better as age goes, right? But you're not wearing out the entire cylinder at that point, because remember, you're running through plastic at that point that you're going to try to wear out. So that's kind of dangerous, all right? So I get you, right? And you know, like for everybody else, like how is the system for you guys when it comes to using plastic or metal? You know, is the proprietary system good or bad?
So you mentioned like the stock nozzle earlier, and I'm gonna have to chime in on that. So you can do all the reading you want on, like, I don't know, like MWS discords or like Reddit or forums. Most people will say, or a lot of people will say actually, that the stock nozzle is the best nozzle. But from our experiences, and at first I thought I was unlucky.
Start a fight. Let's hear this.
At first I thought I was unlucky because my stock nozzle, what happened was there's a little feed arm
feed ramp.
The feed ramp on the nozzles. That thing, I don't know what happened to it, either bent, but it what happened was it jammed. So the nozzle went over a BB, and the nozzle was kind of like hitting the hop up, I guess, chamber like up on the top. So
misaligned,
it was
misfeed.
There's a misfeed, and then once it happened once, it kept happening, right?
Yeah.
So the only fix was, or the most popular fix that I've read was, you get like a lighter and you heat up that arm and you kind of bend it down slowly. And when you do that, it just affects the durability of that part, and that thing's just gonna snap. And mine actually did snap.
Okay.
After doing that mod.
After doing that mod and using it for a while, it still worked.
So you might have a lemon. You might have. Is it a common thing that happens to a lot of people?
Exactly. Or? So this happened to not only myself, but Henry, and then I guess Tom used it last Saturday, and it happened to him.
Oh. I said I'd talk last, but I can jump on that if you
want. I'll explain. I'll kind of explain my theory of why it happens. Because I bought myself and along with Henry, like, we bought new bolt carriers and new nozzles, and my theory of why it happens is because of the tolerances in the stock Marui bolt carriers and nozzles, and also just the whole entire bolt assembly. So this is a stock bolt carrier from Marui, and this is a gas key, and the gas key actually goes into the bolt carrier, if you can see the thing moving in there. And the issue with the nozzle is, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of play in the nozzle. So what's happening is the BBs are probably just pushing pushing up on this thing, and then the thing will just get stuck in the hop-up
So
chamber.
that might be due to mag seating not properly. So are you using
So-
like third-party mags, or are you using a
No,
regular
stock
magazines?
mags.
Stock
Stock mags.
So it's
Yeah.
just an issue
Mm.
that is part of that system.
Yeah, and other people are having that issue too, because if you look at this aftermarket, this is a HAO bolt case or HAO bolt case,
Mm.
and if you look at the amount of play,
Oh, gotcha.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Okay. So okay.
right,
lot
Mhm,
different.
there isn't any play, so it's a
So
huge
it's
Yeah.
just an OEM
So
default.
in comparison to we have the same issue too, but that's
Yep.
based out of the mag not sitting properly. And
Yeah.
for me, I'll get that too. Like I'll get a misfeed.
Yep,
I don't know if
issue.
you guys saw that video. I get a misfeed because the mag is not seating properly. Because of my mags are really old now. It's gone worn out. It's probably lost like a millimeter
More.
from the from the
On your mag catch,
the
right?
mag catch.
Yeah,
And
exactly. So it won't sit.
so it's not sitting properly. So that's why you see me always ramming that in and then like hitting it hard, right?
With-
because-
tap and rack, right?
Yeah,
'Cause,
yeah. Well, I'll
exactly.
tap my mag first so that the BBs actually rattle in there, and then I'll rack it in there. Yeah, I find that like most misfeeds will happen due to mags not sitting properly. My nozzles are wobbly as well, so I find that that's a normal thing for stock Wii as well, as it wobbles. But I find that if I like seat the mags properly, then I don't have any issues. But no, it comes to a point where you own a system long enough, you start to hear its whispers and stuff, right? And
Mhm.
you start whispering to you like, what's wrong? Huh, okay. You start to see like wear and tears or anything like that'll cause it like mishaps and stuff. But yeah, no, I get you. Like it's just hard to pinpoint sometimes, but you theorize on things and then you just kind of slowly work through it. So that's
Maybe
that's
you need
good.
to whisper in Chinese first, and
I mean, that's I've used it long enough. It just speaks to me. But
Yeah, and I was gonna say like there's a lot of other kind of not defects but issues with the ZET system that I don't like too much.
Okay.
Like overall, it's a really efficient system,
Yep.
and it's, I'd say sort of durable. But there's a lot of things that don't really make sense. Like that feed ramp is look how small that feed ramp is
Compared to the WE,
yeah,
yeah.
the
And
WE
this
sticks
is
all the way
yeah
out.
like
Yeah.
and this is a VFC. Like look how much thicker that is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it is girthy, right? So
exactly.
that they could have fixed.
Girthy.
And that jam issue on the MWS, that is a very serious issue because when that happens, once it happens once, that ramp is bent.
Your nozzle's
And
done.
Yeah.
Your nozzle is done. You have to buy a new nozzle, and
So
that is what I did.
is the nozzle fragile or is it soft or what is
It's
it?
fragile. I think
Fragile.
it's fragile. It's soft, and
Yeah, compared to my Wii, I think my nozzles are very soft. So it can take a lot of beating when it comes to seating that thing into like, its final like position. Because
Yeah.
I've racked that thing with just like BBs all around the freaking like chamber and stuff. And yeah, I've mashed my like nozzle way too many times, but it hasn't broken on. The only time it's broken on me is when the feed ramp actually like snaps out. But have you guys noticed any like chipping or anything on that end of your nozzle?
Yeah.
it just
can
breaks.
Can I jump on there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it was Sunday, and I excuse me, I had played with my MWS a few weekends prior, like per weekend, and I'm not a very aggressive player. I kind of treat it like a real kind of milsim per myself.
Yeah.
And near the end of my playing time, I was there for about 3 hours. When I was engaging on enemy players, my gun was when it went into full battery, it would stop before full battery and it would jam, like it would not shoot. And it was
It's not seated properly then. Yeah.
and I cleared, I took the mag out and I put it back in. I made sure it was properly in, and I re-racked, and I went to engage again, and still the bolt would stop just before full battery.
Okay.
And later that day I went home, I took my bolt out and I looked, and my nozzle, the nozzle part that pushes the BB through,
Yep.
it was a bit warped. I showed Raisin and Viruses too. It was a bit warped. as Dennis was saying, the ramp was not bent, but my nozzle part was like warped, like on the edges, kind of.
So it's not seating
like,
it properly into the final battery.
It was skewed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
gotcha.
This is very interesting actually, because you had it happen on your MWSs, but I had mine. I had the same issue, but on the Type 89.
Really?
But not on my other MWSs. So
Really?
Is
like-
it just build quality then? So for certain manufacturer parts, then, like, you know?
specifically the nozzle, yeah.
Mhm.
Like especially on the TM on the 89, the nozzle of plastic is actually quite a bit softer than at least the ones that I found on my MWS. So there's a tendency, yeah, for like for the nozzle for the loaded portion to actually squish and like deform because of like the percussion effect.
Okay. All right. So I'm hearing here, like, even though with all these issues, do you feel that, you know, does the ZET system live up to its name when it comes to, like, all these issues? Is it still good regardless of, you know, like, I feel like if that's a common issue, is that a common issue for everybody, or is it just like a one-time off thing?
What happened to 3 of us?
Hmm.
pretty new into
I
our
think we're
friendship.
gonna have to do 3 out of 4 times, okay,
I
guys?
was I was the most recent victim. So
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Henry? Have you had any
Yeah.
major issues?
Same thing. Basically, what is it? Dennis was like, just take a paper cutter and just cut the front off, and then like use a lighter and bend it down. I'm like, oh, okay. So it kept working a little bit, and then it shredded itself. But ZET is a great system if you're using that C12 or no, the duster gas, right? What it's meant for, right? So that thing will happen flawlessly. If the pressure isn't as high, it will cycle back and will do what it needs to with the adequate pressure. Now we're pumping propane and green gas through it for a plastic that's like, for a plastic that's meant for like easygoing stuff that you're firing at 260, 280 FPS, whereas I'm cranking mine to 380, 390. So it's great for what it's built for, but not what we're abusing it to.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of my thought to it.
As food for thought here, someone who does modify as GBBR, have you guys tried pre-wearing out your nozzle so that it'll fit snugly into like the final battery? Because I'm thinking, like, why don't you just like you know what I do is I'll take like I don't take like a lighter or anything. That's a little bit extreme for me. I take like a fine grit sandpaper and just sand down some of the teeth on that thing so that it'll actually like fit snugly in there. I don't care about how much gas efficiency I'm losing because I'm already using it in summertime. But what about, you know, like Dennis, you're probably the most experienced here. What do you think about that?
Well, the issue isn't that it's like not fully seating. The issue is that like it's going above the BB instead of pushing the BB.
Okay.
So there's not really much you can do.
Yeah.
Like the issue is the angle of that feed ramp is instead of like either pointing down or parallel to the BB, or perpendicular to the BB, it's going up at like a.
So your BB is right here, and then here's your ramp, and it's just like riding up.
Yeah,
basically.
it's skipping over the BB.
Skipping
pretty
through
much.
it, yeah.
I'm thinking magazine. I'm thinking magazine seating. I'm thinking spring on the magazine might be weak. I don't know. I'm just
It could be a mixture of things, just because like one, the looseness of the the nozzle, and then two, the build quality of like the
you're right.
material.
Yeah, I can see it now that the loose nozzle will just like glide up on top of it. Okay.
Yeah, the use of green gas over duster gas. Then you also have in the account for like, you know, like it happens with our WeMags, right?
Yeah.
I know that we can fit 30 rounds in there, but I know some people can sometimes sneak an extra round in there and screw their mags up, and then that's how you destroy your nozzle in the first go. I've had that happen to me a couple times.
Yeah. Okay. It's funny because like I've actually had this on my GHKs where I needed to actually like file the insides of the feed lips. So the BB it requires less force to actually get the BB out through the feed lips.
Yeah.
But I never heard of needing to do that for like the MWS mags though.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
As far as like, because of all these issues, have you guys performed any upgrades or anything like that in terms of just like improving it, or have you kept it default? Because I heard you guys just changing up the nozzle and the bolt carriers right away. Is that something that's common for users, or?
I'd say the nozzle is, a pretty common issue.
Nozzle spring as well.
Yeah, and the nozzle spring, right? So a lot of probably the biggest first upgrade that people suggest is to change your nozzle spring, because when you're using higher pressure gas, you want your nozzle to return faster.
Yeah.
I haven't done that because all the nozzles that I got had like stronger nozzle springs anyway. So because of my stock nozzle breaking, I had to replace all the nozzles anyway. So I ended up just replacing the whole bolt carrier and my nozzle. And as I showed earlier, the new nozzle and bolt carrier, there's a lot less play. So I haven't had any issues with that since. I did replace the buffer, because the stock buffer, that thing's one of the first things to go as well, because when you're using higher pressure gases, you don't want something that's plastic that's bashing against in the back.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
for
It's
me,
gonna be
those
the
are
first thing
like,
that breaks. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, exactly. For me, those are the three main things, I guess. The three things that I did upgrade: just the nozzle, the bolt carrier, and the buffer.
So that's interesting. You mentioned nozzle spring return, because and the MWS system, when I was looking into the reviews and such, it keeps it, like, once you fire it and then the bolt runs back, it keeps the nozzle in place until the very last moment, and then it retracts back, which is actually pretty cool because you get the most gas efficiency. But you're saying that you want it to return back faster, then you're going to lose your efficiency.
Well,
it's not necessarily faster, but it's not necessarily a stronger spring that you're looking for, but more durable spring.
Okay.
Mm.
For higher gas pressures then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Most of the
okay.
issues have been the stock spring just breaking because of the fact that that we're running propane through these things as opposed to this gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your bolt carrier is traveling much faster backwards when the stress of that spring being pulled
I
while
gotcha.
it's still stuck.
It's
Right.
stretching it out to a point where it's beyond its regular
capacity,
operating
or
tension.
compressor
Yeah,
capacity.
Yeah,
Operating
gotcha.
parameters.
Yeah, it's not the efficiency of it. It's more or less, it's going to be stretched beyond its limits.
I
And
get
it's
it.
just gonna snap.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
already using higher pressure gas. You don't need to keep it on for that long.
Where's the
then.
black gas?
Oh Jesus.
I think the MWS might blow up. I don't know.
All right.
Well, because
So,
the valves are meant for duster gas.
Yeah.
Right? So.
all right.
Yeah.
So let's move on here. From the bolt to the trigger mechanism here. So MWS uses a 45-degree like a hammer. It's very different from something like a VFC, which has a 90-degree huge freaking like hammer that just slaps the ass and then comes back again, right? Right? Or we have a big hammer.
It's a big
as well.
hammer.
Same thing.
Yeah, and you look down at MWS, right, and you're like, wow, it's like everything in the trigger mechanism area is very much closed off, right, preventing BVs and other things from getting through. Like, is it snappy? Compared to, I guess,
Yes.
Is it okay? Perfect.
Yeah.
And compared to a 90-degree, do you have to travel a lot more in the trigger versus the MWS? Is it like a much more like a lighter weight, or like, how does it feel when you fire it?
It feels natural.
Natural?
Like as I spoke earlier, and a few other guys said, shooting real steel, it feels natural. In the fact with the reset of the trigger,
Yeah.
like when you shoot it, it's like it doesn't feel like you have to wait like with the AEG,
Yeah.
because when I had my gun fixed by TAC a long time ago last summer, my buddies, it got fixed because my buddies were spamming the trigger.
Yeah.
And my gun at the time, the Franken build M4, it was not meant for just fast trigger pulls.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember too that the trigger spring on like an AEG is so much different from the trigger spring on.
And that,
well, they use a torsion spring, and those aren't.
They're not going to hold up to.
They're not actual trigger spring. They're just pushing a button on the other end.
Yeah.
But for you guys out there with your MWS, like, is that the perfect amount of like weight and like reset
The
compared
weight,
to another system?
The trigger pull is definitely the weakest trigger pull, I'd say, compared to like other systems.
Because I
Because
tried
how
it
the-
out. I tried it out
is
on
a
the
bit
field.
heavier.
It is a little bit weird for me pulling it compared to my Wii, because my Wii has a little bit better travel.
Mhm.
Yeah,
that-
yes,
And
exactly.
That wall.
It is a bit. Yeah, it is
yeah.
a bit longer.
Well, and then even poi, like the direct reset from when you pull,
After you release the trigger,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? Like you feel like I wouldn't compare that to a real AR because I've only ever shot about 4, but like yeah, and they were all like just stock triggers, because I know you can do other things to ARs to make them better and stuff, right? But like a real steel version, so just in that airsoft factor, like yeah, exactly. Like your Riz is like, God, you've worn that thing in, but it's still like a tank.
Yeah. So for you guys, is it the trigger that you want? Is it snappy, or do you want to modify it a little bit more?
I would
I would
change
modify mine.
Yeah,
You would
harder.
modify?
I think all of us would probably change it.
Yeah.
Just something
Yeah.
stiffer.
So
Yeah.
something stiffer. It's easy to pull the trigger in that thing without having to wait. Like, there's no weight on it. What you're saying is right.
Yeah.
It's like weight.
It's easy to misfire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's like
You,
a
like, look at-
hairline
you-
trigger. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at it, it'll probably shoot itself.
Oh, fuck.
The-
Okay, so
You're like,
all right.
shoot.
I'll say because my favorite rifle is actually the AUG. Compared to the AUG, it's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bullpup
Okay.
though. Like all
It's a
bullpups
bullpup
are
because of that,
Yeah,
But it's
the
an
ball,
auto,
it
yeah.
has to travel further to the back.
Yeah. So like
my fingers are really.
Yeah, you have
black right
that
now.
added weight just to hammer it from the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall trigger, I mean, meh or up down,
it's like
Or,
in the
I-
middle.
Yeah.
Because the whole ZET system, the reason why it's so efficient is because everything is so lightweight.
Gotcha.
Right, and the
Okay.
reason why the trigger is like that is because since how the system works, the trigger is going to operate the hammer, right?
Yeah.
So not only is the hammer spring in there really lightweight, but also like the trigger reset is also very light,
Exactly.
just to allow for just
Are there modifications
yes,
that you
there's
can do?
tons.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
there
Okay, that's good.
there is
There-
aftermarket stuff. Okay.
There's so much aftermarket. You can get like a 2-stage if you don't
Oh.
want a single
Oh
stage.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Um,
cool.
Some people say
Alright.
2-stage is more realistic, but they don't realize there is single
And,
stage trigger.
I think there's also binary triggers as well.
And I want to hear from Henry. Is the trigger pull okay, good, bad?
I think I'm ready to switch out the trigger box for
Okay.
it. So
Okay.
it's
You've had enough,
mediocre.
yeah.
So all right,
Yeah.
so we're starting to see the cracks here, guys. So we're TM. TM, you almost got it.
Yeah, they almost got it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So let's carry on here. So I don't really have anything else to add. But anyone try to short stroke it yet?
Can you short stroke
You
that
can.
one?
You can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can.
Can.
You add spacers to the buffer tube.
There
Yeah,
you
to
go,
the
yeah.
back, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But then that won't allow your bolt to lock back.
Exactly. So now you'll be
Ah.
running dry, like,
Yeah.
and you have to shoot dry for you to know that you're
Okay.
empty.
All right.
It's pretty
I got it.
stupid, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
So it's almost similar to GHK short stroke.
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
Where you don't
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna lie, like yes, there are advantages to it, but when you see the GHK short stroke, you're just like, what is that? It's
Tell that reload my AK.
yeah. Let me rack that.
As far as any other changes go, pop up, inner barrel, any of that fun jazz. You guys changed that at all yet? Or I'm sure you did.
Oh,
Hmm.
I had to change the hop-up rubber because when my nozzle broke, it destroyed my hop-up rubber.
Of course. Okay.
Okay.
There's
Ugh.
that.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Anybody else modified or hop up or an inner barrel?
Yeah,
Or even
yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
I've heard that it takes a muscle and a half to take off the Mark 18 barrel, or sorry, rail.
Oh, okay.
You need a
Yes.
heat gun or heat, like a straight heat to it, to the locking
Whoa.
threads on the outer barrel.
What
Oh,
the
rail.
they've been Loctited.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not fun.
Okay.
It's all
I
locked.
gotcha.
All Loctite.
Yeah.
It's all Loctite.
So it's really built for durability. They don't want you to open it.
So-
Honestly, Poi, yeah, they don't.
Okay, got it.
I'll actually add on to that too, which is why one of my other reasons why the Mark 18 isn't worth it for the price. The externals use a very proprietary design. I don't know if you guys know how the Mark 18 rail system works or how it's mounted onto an AR, but it has a plate that kind of sits behind the barrel nut, and the barrel nut doesn't allow the plate to come out. And it just, when you put the rail on and bolt it on, it applies tension, so then the rail sits. So the TM plate doesn't have anything to make it stick behind your barrel nut. It uses 2 barrel nuts to stick on the rail. So this is the stock TM, like Mark 18, like, I guess, nut for the Mark. And then normally there will be like a little shelf here on a real Mark 18 barrel nut, but there's nothing here. So it uses another barrel nut to sit on the inside of it and on the outside of it. To mount this rail.
You just take off your.
It's nuts.
Yeah, so you can't use a standard AR wrench for the first barrel nut. You have to use a special URX tool designed for like the Knight's Armament URX rails.
Oh god, that's the one that's super long, and you gotta.
Yeah, it goes down the barrel.
Gotcha. Okay, I know which one it is now.
Yeah, so it is extremely proprietary. Because
to add to that too, actually,
rent it out at the field whenever someone has to take it out.
You have an MWS, I hear.
Well, and actually to add to that too, if you have any kind of like modern platform base, I believe you have to have that tool, because I remember another person running into that with when they brought their SR25 to me, and when I got down to it, I was like, bro, you need to get a special tool. You bought a special gun.
Pretty much all like the Knight's Armament rails, you need those. Like Geisley, you don't. Geisley, they're smart. They just use regular barrel nuts, AR tools. But that's one thing about the MWS that sucks. You cannot change your hop-up bucking without taking your rail and barrel off.
Yes, that's true.
So with me, I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother buying this tool. So I dremelled off that first barrel nut.
I see you're not going back to default at this point.
Go back here.
So I just put a new barrel nut on it, and I just I had a Mad Bull Mark 18 rail. So obviously this is the stock Marui one, and I just put a Mad Bull one on it. If it works fine.
Okay.
But it's a long process, and you need like special tools to take apart the Mark 18, which is why the normal like M4s would have been a better purchase.
I'll speak to the normal like configuration. You really just need like the standard, I guess like AR breakdown tool to unlock the barrel nut for that. I do have 2 of them, but like on the one with the heaviest modification is actually the M16, because I obviously had to install the full length outer barrel as well as change the inner barrel to suit that. I think I ended up putting in like a Firefly nub. It's something it's like a sort of special nub that I was recommended where like the actual nub is not a pad, but it's like 3 prongs or something like that. I mean, so far it's worked out, but we'll see how long it lasts. Like probably the biggest thing was actually putting it all back together again, but also learning how to take apart the AR this way.
Right. Okay.
But it's beautiful. You have a long barreled M16 version.
Yeah. You have it together. It's complete.
I'm jealous. Okay, so all right, internals. There's a lot of things you guys can do. I'm sure there's a lot of third parties and modifications that you could do. I'm sure the community is all up. It's not bad for a 7-year-old system to have this many mods on it already. That's
to have that kind of aftermarket support.
That's a lot of community support already.
Yeah, definitely lets you continue it and stuff like that. For people who have old systems, they can just gut it out.
There's a YouTuber called Ollie Airsoft. He's come up recently, but like he like talks just nothing except for TM, and like his go-to MWS. He says that the only thing that's stock left on it is like a single pin.
So he loves MWS, but he also loves the old
Got
third
rid of
party.
the MWS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
All right.
Okay, let's move on here. Maintenance. Okay, this is probably gonna be a short one, but I'm sure you guys clean your MWS after each game. I'm sure it's an expensive equipment. You probably maintain it a lot more than your house or anything like that. As far as like, how often do you guys have to clean and maintain it? And what kind of cleaning and grease do you guys use on it, or do you hardly ever do anything to it?
I get to clean mine.
You
Oh,
have
wow.
yet to clean yours?
Oh
Really?
my goodness.
Have you done the barrel? at
Oh
least?
no.
No. I'm due to clean it.
I'll do the
Oh,
barrel.
due to clean it.
I haven't
okay.
yet. But
Oh.
that's why I'm talking first, because I want to hear what you guys want.
Oh,
You want some advice?
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And like Virus and Raisin have both already talked to me, and we've talked and said, and they've told me what they use and or to upgrade and how to progress it, because mine is still bone stock. I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't done anything.
Okay, and it still
So-
works fine. Well,
Yeah.
other than the nozzle.
Yeah. Mine works great. So that's why I was talking first. I have yet to upgrade, or sorry, oil and clean mine. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So
let's-
then, yeah. Do you guys
let's
have
hear
any
it from
kind
the
of?
guys that
Yeah.
actually do it? Yeah.
Do you guys have any kind of recommended brands, or what do you guys use?
So for me, I use the same stuff for all my gas blowback rifles, or kind of like same method of cleaning and I guess maintenance.
Yeah.
So for the bolt carrier itself, there's only for the MWS, there's two main spots that I lubricate. It's just anywhere. The first spot is pretty much anywhere that comes into contact with the receiver. So I guess I'll just show you.
That the wheels.
So the bearing
Yeah.
here, some companies use a bushing. I think TM is at the bearing. Just
Yeah.
lubricate the bearing. So I use like a 100 CST silicone oil, which is like I
Yeah,
think
that's what I
2.5
use
weight,
as well. Yeah.
2.5 weight or something. Super Loop, great brand. It's really good. I use silicone oil there. And then so this is what the stock bolt carrier looks like after like a couple games.
Yeah.
So pretty much anywhere you see that paint is wearing out, I
Yeah,
use
that's
grease.
a typical gas
Yeah,
blowback
friction points.
yeah.
friction
exactly.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Friction
exactly.
points,
All
yeah.
the friction points, I use grease, and then back here, there's the
Oil.
nozzle.
Gotta
Yeah,
use
you
oil
use
for
oil.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So because it's the seal, there's a seal on here or an O-ring for some GBBR, so you use that. And for bulk carrying, that's about it.
Okay.
And then I'll just like use an alcohol-soaked like napkin or paper
Yeah.
towel or shop towel and just wipe the
Just
inside
wipe it,
of
yeah.
the receiver,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
And then
Clean the
like,
barrel. Yeah.
ram
Yeah,
with the
clean the
barrel.
You really like that
Appreciate
motion
it.
there, do you, buddy?
I do. Yeah.
And with the ZET system that I found, you don't want to overly lubricate your trigger group or your fire control group. The reason why is because the valve knocker inside can get sticky, and then you'll get failure to fire. So it'll either be failure to fire or you'll get a light strike.
Yeah.
So you obviously want to use a little bit of silicone oil, but not too much. Definitely not grease, because that will collect a lot of dirt. And
Yeah.
gunk.
Yeah. You don't want to use too much. That's what people don't realize is if you put too much grease, then you're gonna gunk it up and slow it down even more. Especially if you're playing at Panther, which is a very like dusty, dirty environment.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna find stuff in places you never thought you had existed in your gun.
Yeah, because I find that like looking at this like the MWS system, there's not a lot of friction points. One, because it's not like our Wii's where it just fits on a tube and then there's everything has friction on it, and that's what it's relying on is the grease.
Just
To-
a solid tube to send it.
Yeah,
Because I don't know about
Sand.
you guys, but I practically drench my gun in
Yeah.
yeah.
oil.
So same here. Yeah,
But, like
It
other
takes
than
a bath.
it's literally I take the gun, dip it, take it out, get my alcohol swabs, clean inner barrel, and then shoot.
I mean,
like,
with
it's
with
like
my
that
BSD,
bath
it's like that.
C2PO
so
takes in
they're
Star
supposed
Wars.
to be known for low maintenance, like the MWS system, low maintenance, high durability,
Mhm,
mhm.
high performance.
I probably spent
yeah.
more time maintain my mags than
Okay.
that was my next question
I do
is
the weapon.
mag performance / mag, like, you know, maintenance, like how, like, you know, the first thing, you know, your O-rings, you know, does it leak, you know, like what is your guys' general experience with the mags? You know, have you had any leaky mags yet? Have you replaced any O-rings or anything like that? You know,
I haven't had the need to actually replace O-rings, but like 1 or 2 of the mags that came when I first bought the gun began you know, seeing issues. But then this is like 3 or 4 the 3 years of not maintaining it at all.
Okay.
So like I guess that's a pretty good track record. So like
I would say
bad,
so.
yeah, that's
I
not
would
bad,
definitely
yeah.
say so.
to fix it, all I did was just disassemble the entire magazine, get all the O-rings, and just soaked it in like silicone oil for like maybe half a day or a full day, and then reassembled it.
Okay.
Telling everybody the secrets, man. You gotta.
Yo, I feel that.
No,
That's TM magic.
How am I gonna buy leaking mags now?
Yeah, come on, no one's ever gonna sell fucking leaking mags.
Yo, it's the same for me and Wii mags, dude. That's like,
Boy, yeah,
so
it's
your
tough,
mags are
man.
leaking, huh? I'll buy it off you.
I'll take that for $20.
No, I'm gonna go low. I'll start with 5, dude.
Yeah, it's basically
It's done. It's done. It's broken.
basically
It's
a
broken.
piece of metal.
Or even better, I'm sure you guys have done this. Oh yeah, your gun's totally not working. Yeah, 350.
Okay, so I mean, generally, gas mags, you know, all brands experience the same sort of issues.
Yeah.
You know, leaking mags and stuff. I think it's just generally down to maintenance. That's the beauty of gas blowback, is just a lot of the maintenance is, you know, it's like you take care of it more, it takes care of you, you know, later on.
Pretty much.
Right. So yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to add about the mags. I forgot to touch up on this, but the TM mags are actually a weird design, especially for the inject valve or the fill valve.
Really?
So almost every single mag, I'm pretty sure every single mag, the fill valves go in perpendicular to the mag. So you will like fill in vertically, like you will put your bottle at like a 90-degree angle to that to that mag.
Yes.
I'm still
The
learning.
MWS mag, it goes in at an angle,
Like a 45 or like
a 45. So if this was the mag,
Chuck is showing. Chuck is showing.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
exactly.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's really, I'm still learning it.
Okay,
So
interesting.
you go in like this. It is a weird design, and sometimes you can't get a perfect angle.
Yeah.
Even if you tilt the mag a certain way, you can't get the perfect angle. So a lot of gas will like leak out. So you don't know if it's full or if it's just kind of
weird.
Angle.
It must be because they don't want it to leak out like all the way down, so it has to be at a 45. I don't.
No, it might have to do with just how like when it turns into a liquid inside, so that you can gain more capacity, because I know that it, like with TM, they have usually extra long nozzles, and part of the reason for that inside is to allow you to have more liquid gas inside.
Yeah, I would have to open it up and see myself, because it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, I'm like hearing it and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like the actual like fill tube is actually goes in fairly into a fair way into the mag. Yeah. So you can't actually have it flush to the base, or else it
No, I get it now. I get it now. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah. So it goes all the way up to the mid mag area. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. So generally maintenance, typical GBBR or gas blowback users, you know, general maintenance. I think that's a must. Just one of those things where you have to do it constantly. So Tom, I'm gonna warn you now.
Yeah, I know. That's why I went first, boy, because I wanted to hear what the rest of the guys said, because they're far more experienced than me.
Yeah.
And
okay, so now let's talk about for you guys that do it a lot, frequency. Like, is it every game? Is it every week? Is it every month? What do you do? What do you do for like maintenance? Like at that point, like how much do you re-grease it? Because if you're doing it every game, really?
No, every day after the games.
Okay, all right.
But you have to work it. No. Like after the game, that's what I do. It's
basically re-grease, re-lube,
Not so much re-lube as much depending on how much like I was shooting like during the game, I guess. But yeah, it's not like I do a deep clean every single time.
Okay.
Yeah. But the mags though is like since I did like the full treatment like almost a year ago now, I haven't touched the O-ring since, and
Gotcha.
they've been working fine.
Okay. And as far as like Panther being a dusty environment, are you finding that it's a lot more dirtier at the end of your day, or is it like it takes a couple of weeks for it to collect?
No, I think it takes a couple of weeks, but it's always safe to just get toothbrush and then kind of go through the insides.
Okay.
Yeah, actually the strangest thing I found stuck in the barrel was actually like was like one of those pine leaves.
In the barrel?
In the barrel, like it must have fallen in at some point, and then the action of cycling like crushed it up.
Oh,
It didn't
okay.
affect the performance of the rifle.
Okay.
It wasn't until I was thinking, it's like, there's a leaf in here.
All right. So regular maintenance is a must still. I mean, that's typical for any gas blowback users.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's jump in here. I guess you guys better grab your MWSs because now we're going to talk about accessories. Let's dress it up, guys. So what do you have? And explain to me. We'll just go one by one. Who's got theirs ready to go? Looks like Tom's right there.
That might be the longest, but
all right. Let's see. What do you have for accessories? And tell us, why.
Me first?
Yeah. You're the one that has.
So actually, last Sunday I just bought the M203.
Okay.
I have. Well, a lot of the guys have the same stuff, but I got the Real Steel Magpul K2 grip.
Okay.
I got a Repro Unity riser because I just like to overbore a little bit.
Okay.
I have a Repro Daniel Defense irons because I just like the look of them, and they have the trades. I have the suppress. You know what? Funny. While we were podcasting, I have the KAC can as well, and my muzzle's stuck on it right now. I was kind of messing with it. I gotta figure that out. But
needle nose plier.
Yeah, I stuck my stock TM SOP mod stock back on.
Is that
just
the crane?
It looks the crane stock. Yeah, SOP mod's crane. Just because it looks kind of natural and like old school, because I like old school stuff.
You should definitely go for the Magpul if you already got the Magpul grip. Come on, man.
I have it. I put it back on my VFC.
Okay.
The AG, and I like as Raisin
Radiant.
I have the Radiant.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
But
that was
other than that, that's all I have to show. I have nothing. Like I said earlier.
It looks good.
Mm.
Looks good.
But that's my thing, man. Just looking cool and having fun. So.
In for the LARP. All right, who's next?
The LARP, yeah.
Who's next? Who wants to jump in?
I guess I'll go.
Yeah, go for it.
So this is my Mark 18.
That's sick, I know.
I'll start from tip to butt.
Yeah, there we go. give me the tip first.
This can. So this is a PTS Griffin Armament M4SD2 suppressor. The mock suppressor, obviously. So it's a nice suppressor. It is QD and it attaches onto any standard like bird cage.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, any standard is
nice. Goes on. I bought it because I actually had a purpose because I want to put a longer inner barrel onto this.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere like a 360 mil inner barrel just to get the FPS a little bit higher. Because right now it's shooting like 330, I think. And yeah, FPS doesn't really mean more distance all the time, but I want my BBs to travel a little bit faster if I'm going to be shooting 0.3s. Because I'd rather not have guys just kind of stepping
on
up
people
to the side.
Feel the pain.
Well, I was just gonna say, honestly, with the BB weight, a lot of the time it does come with that punch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I have here, don't kill me, guys. It is an O-light.
Didn't you say get the Streamlight? Don't get the O-light?
I do have a Streamlight. There's a Streamlight right here.
Yeah, no, it does. You are in Burger Company.
Don't worry, guys. That is a Streamlight. So I honestly say never buy O-light. I only got it because it was $50 brand new. So for the price, like why not, right? Because it comes with like a pressure pad switch.
Yeah, the dual switch one, right? Yeah.
Like why not, right? This is a Magpul Scout light mount. So it was impossible for me to find like an Arasaka defense or a Haley strategic offset pick mount for a scout light. So the Magpul one was like the only one I could find.
Looks pretty good. Yeah.
So it works with any scout mount, scout adapter mounts, I guess. This is a Magpul
Moe.
I don't remember what it is. One of the MOE grips.
Yeah.
Yep. The standard shorty stub.
It's got Magpul rail covers here. The nice thing with the Mark 18, it does come with a
Yeah, I like
adapter.
that.
Sling.
I
Nice.
like that sling adapter a
Oh.
lot.
That is nice. It
Yeah,
is a really nice rail adapter.
It's a very good
really nice
accessory.
sling.
Yeah.
I've got a K2 Plus grip, so it's the same as Tom's. It just has the rubberized texture.
Okay, so it's
I
just a little more feel.
The only difference
Yeah.
is it's just rubberized versus like
Yeah.
textured.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
the only difference.
And I love the K2 grip because compared to like your standard A2 grip, it is a bit more vertical, so it's a bit more natural when you hold it in your hands. And I like grips that kind of go up a little bit more onto the receiver because I kind of have my hand a little bit higher up usually.
You want it to get seated, properly.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
of course.
The next thing that I will change on this though is the trigger guard
Yep.
because the
That's
little
that's mine. actually.
crevice thing there kind of annoys me whenever my finger is there.
Do you wear gloves as well?
I sometimes I don't.
Okay.
And this is a B5 stock
Okay.
Okay.
that's on here with that's a Firefield special from Cabela's.
Yeah,
Nice.
It works. It works.
And it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and so this is the nice thing about the TMs is they do have trades. So this is Colt trades.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh,
And then
Yeah,
my
the trades
bolt
are nice.
carrier here. Hold on here. Don't call the
Oh, ew.
that's illegal.
A little sneaky HK.
And that's my
that's
mark here, guys.
heresy.
All right. Who wants to go next here? It's either Chuck or
Varus, I think you can go because I got like
Yeah.
2 guns to go through.
Okay. So before that turns into a paragraph. So pretty much the same as a combination of Brazen and Tom of go from front to back. So this is I have the blaster on here. I like the blaster. And then the rest, this is a Surefire MD600 DF or M600 DF. The rails are just Magpul covered ladders. And I have the AFG too.
nothing wrong with that. They're still good. Yeah.
Yeah, love this. Next going down. Sorry, I'm not HK on here. If you guys can see it, this is the Giselle Repro one. From my bolt carrier.
Wow.
And have a EXPS3 on here for its real steel.
The real steel version.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
how much did you spend on it?
this
As much as
one,
I got.
I got it at Reliable.
Yeah.
This one was about eight bills.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a pleasure to
only-
look through.
Yeah.
It is a
Make
pleasure.
sure you have a front glass on that. I don't want both
that-
front and back.
right here.
Dude, the
Oh,
back.
it's just the front.
Dude, do the back. Trust me, because I've seen stuff get shot out from the back, and
How often do you get TK'd?
and I could tell you right now, I've seen I've got my back shot out, and I've seen other people's back glass shot out. So just heads up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the next thing I'm investing is just a new hood for it that has the covers. Other than that, the Radian.
Yeah.
And same as Raisin, but mine's in FDE, the Plus grip K2 Plus.
Yeah.
And then the difference is mine is CTR.
Nice.
Maple
That's
CTR,
my
so-
favorite butt stock. Yeah.
Yeah, and my buffer tube, actually, I'm the only one who short stroked it. My buffer tube only goes up this far.
Okay.
So mine doesn't lock back anymore, which is fine. I can feel it, but yeah.
Just count your rounds, right?
I can't
Yeah.
count to 10, so I'll just...
Oh.
Was that my first set of 10? Was that my second set of 10?
You gotta get the 10 rounder Canadian compliant mags now at that point.
Yeah, the short mags.
Oh,
Yeah, the short
actually,
mags.
do any of you guys have
Actually-
like the short 20 rounders?
Yes.
No. Yes, Mac
Oh.
does.
No.
Yeah. We
Okay.
have a couple of them.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they're Wii ones. Sorry, not.
Oh,
for the,
yeah, not
not for
TM.
the
But
TMs,
TM is still they run those at 20 capacity to begin with. So it's funny because I ran a 20 round during one game and I was out of ammo before I realized it.
You're still shooting and you're like, what?
Yes.
What's
Oh,
going on?
damn. Yeah.
All right, let's
Hold
see
on,
your
guys.
setup.
Hold on,
Okay.
guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah, let's see your
Oh,
setup.
okay. Yeah. So
Go for it.
Hot.
This is the hilariously long extended PMAG.
Oh, the 40 rounder.
Oh,
from
the
like
45,
GMP, yeah.
isn't
Oh
it?
my
The
god.
Yeah,
45?
it looks so funny on it. 'Cause it's
Holy
like
crap! It
it's-
looks
Yeah,
like
it's long. It's a long
it's
boy.
a long board. Yeah. But
it's like try and go prone.
yeah, no, you can't. So I like pain a lot. So all of my rifles are based out of like U.S. Army and U.S. Marine impressions.
Yeah,
So-
they're period correct, right?
The period, yeah, as close as possible. So like this is my pride and joy. This is my M16A4.
I love that one.
So this has a full 20-inch barrel with a inner tube that's sorry, inner barrel that's 510 millimeters.
Jesus. Jeez.
It's annoyingly real because the threads on this are actually counterclockwise. Sorry, they're actually clockwise. So I can't. I need an adapter to actually put on any kind of like airsoft like muzzle device. Like Repo Pack 15, and just because the M203 is fun, yeah, I chucked it on there, and I had this data set as well, just like for shits and giggles. But actually, I'll just take
That's hot. I love it.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
So good. And that's your full A2 stock one,
full
right?
full A2 stock.
Yeah,
So the actual configuration for it is as close as to A4 as possible.
Oh yes, that's that. Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
the,
the standard right there, man.
Dude, when I
Yeah.
held that on Sunday, oh my
Oh.
gosh, it was so nice.
Careful, you're giving Mike flashbacks. I can see him chatting right now.
Yeah, no, he's like, whoa. The RTO
So cool.
is actually genuine.
Oh.
yeah,
How much?
yeah.
How much? How much?
Yeah.
I got it secondhand off a buddy, so at least it wasn't. It's like
Retail
full
price.
Yeah,
it wasn't retail price, but somewhere around the ballpark of like $1,000. So
Yep.
Okay,
That sounds
yeah.
about right.
No-
Yeah.
no joke
yeah.
for those.
that was actually a pretty
trades.
good discount for it, but because retail price is like $2,000 plus, right? So, but it runs great. Like the field of view in this is amazing. And like the dot is extremely readable. Because I found that a lot of repro ACOGs, the dot just isn't bright. Sorry, the chevron isn't bright enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your fiber optic app too works on that. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, yeah, I think I mentioned the internals. I did like change out the bulkhead group and like the spring and
Okay.
So that's one of them.
Oh no, he's got another one.
The other one isn't as exciting, I guess, but like the second one I actually bought secondhand. But I configured it so it's a bit more
It's
like
the
US
standard.
Army.
Yeah, it's US Army M4. Yeah.
Yeah, US Army M4. So a lot of it is
M4
stock.
I've
comp,
seen
nice.
that before.
Comp M4.
Yeah, Comp M4 with like the standard. I forgot what this is called, but like this is standard stock.
Yeah. The standard Riz with the long night
armor
elements.
grip,
Yeah.
Yep. And the OLED.
Uh-huh.
And the only thing else that's custom on this is actually I did put a two-sided safety because as I found out recently, the U.S. Army did start to integrate these into the M4s.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah, that was something. Oh, and actually, I did get a serial QR code for
What's that for?
iPhone 16.
Wait, let me scan. Let me scan.
Oh, for the armors.
I'm
yeah.
trying to scan right now. Hold
The
still.
scan doesn't work, but it does have my name on it.
Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
that's
Bunch
just
of
if
other
you're an
Easter
armor. Yeah, you want to scan that in.
That's
It'd
a
be
nice
pretty
touch.
funny if you scan that and then it came up with like some kind of like.
No. You get Rickrolled.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Awesome setups, guys. We'll skip the last question here. I think we're at 2 hours and 30 minutes now. So in closing, unless Mac Tack, you guys have anything you want to add to this before we ask the final closing questions?
Yeah, we will soon be joining this club.
Yeah.
Just wait. Okay,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'll soon be joining it as well. So yeah,
Exactly. MWS boys.
Well,
But-
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've been stuck between getting the VFC one or getting the MWS one. So this is I've definitely sat on the fence. But thank you.
Trade for a weekend, guys.
We can share max. Like we literally throw a mag.
But wait, guys, give my VFC a chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, so in closing, I guess this is a general question for everybody, and you could answer it as quick as you can. Do you believe TM has the best GBBR system, even though they came late to the show?
No.
No?
I think I think it's multi-factor though, because from what you guys have said, performance-wise, no. Longevity-wise, yes.
They haven't had it for that long though, so
no, but still, I mean, the system has. Okay, so I guess these owners themselves haven't.
Yeah,
had it
you guys are gonna have to answer that. So
did notice
is
the patent,
TM
but
the best
all
GBBR
MRP
system?
teams.
Yeah.
It comes with the support.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with the support that you're gonna burn a little small hole in your wallet, but it's not that you're hooped. You're not like this gun's no longer non-operational. It's a contender amongst everybody else as well. We's GHKs and all of that. It's a solid contender for how late they came into the game.
100%.
But the aftermath of all the support that you have, like even being able to get bulk carriers in 3 days from China, it's indescribably supported. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Tom, what about you? We'll start off with
speaking on Raisin saying support. It's not just support of like yourself doing it. It's the support of other people helping you upgrade your gun.
Owners groups and communities and such.
Yeah, and everybody is in the same game, and they want you to have the best gun yourself. And I think that in the long run, speaking of longevity, you're gonna have a really, really, really good gun, like to have fun and like use it.
Okay. And Chuck?
I'll say, like from my experience with it, I would say it's the best out of the box, like without any modification.
Okay. All right. That's a good. That's a good thing.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Obviously, the other guys had a very different experience, especially with their Mark 18s. But for me, with the standard like Block 1,
the OG M4 one that they originally came with.
Yeah. I did not have any issues. And to also piggyback off what Tom said, like the support group, so the support network for it with people that are interested, it is frankly quite amazing to see. Like the fact that there is a dedicated Discord group called the Tokyo Marui Gas Blowback Series Rifle Group is and they're very active. Any questions that you go onto there, like people just jump on and help you out.
Okay. And
okay.
And Dennis, I know you're the negative Nancy because you own GBBRs. Do you believe it's the best GBBR system, or is there something else you think?
I wouldn't say it's the best. I don't think there is the best BBR system out there. I would say it's tied with like the WA system, so like VFC, GHK, and like ViperTech. The reason why is because what Henry or Virus was saying, the aftermarket support is phenomenal with it, like MWS or just all TM guns in general. Like it is by far the best. Like there's like 10, 20 different bolt carriers you can get. There's like 5 different companies that make them. You can get a gold one, a chrome one, you get a steel one, you can get a aluminum, you can get a pot metal one, right? Other brands don't have that aftermarket support. Like there's so many different nozzles you can play around with. But I would say that is a good and bad thing, because the fact that there's so much aftermarket support kind of goes to show like the issues there are with like the stock parts.
Right.
So I would say if this was like the winter time, like let's say now, the TM would be the best out of the box, GBBR, because it'll work in the winter time. It'll work when it's cold. Come down to talk to me in June, July when it's hot. I probably won't say the same thing about the MWS, because these nozzle issues we've had already with the MWS, it was like 5 degrees. When the heat is higher, when the temperatures are higher and the gas is expanding a lot more, these issues are going to be a lot worse. I'd say the plastic pieces or just the softer metals in the MWS is probably going to be an issue in terms of longevity and durability, whereas like a WA system has less moving parts. They come with steel now, like at least VFCs, they come with all steel hammers, steel bolts, right? So those things, I would say the VFC or even like a GHK will perform way better in the summertime. So I'd say it's situational. The TM does have the best aftermarket support. And if you want a GBBR to use year round, TM would be the best.
100%.
All right.
Well-rounded.
Yep.
Yeah. And as far as the MWS system goes, you know, other than the M4, would you guys move into like the brand new AK system that they're gonna bring out, or are you guys gonna wait for like a Gen 2 or something like that?
The GHK, I feel like the GHK AKs are just like they're steel bodies. I think I'm not sure if the TM bodies are steel, but in just terms of external feel, I feel like the GHKs are just far superior.
I agree with you with that on the GHK. The GHK AK seems to be the standard for AK systems. But sorry, Chuck, you were showing off.
Oh, this is not an M4, but the Type 89. I have had a lot of success running this, as well during like the colder months. And it's the operating system is actually basically like an AK. It's like built off the AR-18 platform, so you have like a charging handle and all that, and a very, very awkward safety like that requires you to do this full 270-degree motion to get the semi.
You're doing it with anger.
They just want you to make sure you're really sure about which fire selection that you're choosing. That's Japan for you.
The fact that when you're on standby, you are having this kind of grip is very strange.
Yeah, but that's also an MWS system as well, right? Okay.
It's based off of like the ZET platform. It's just that it's configured slightly differently.
That's your other platform then in terms of MWS.
But what about it? Same mags.
Same mags, yeah.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
And wait till that AK comes out. Say goodbye.
What about you, Tom? Would you spend more money and get the another MWS system that's not an M4? Something like what Chuck has, or an AK system that's coming out?
I think personally, I would spend the money on upgrading mine.
Okay.
So that, I mean, I'm not like, I can't travel in the future, obviously, but I think if I upgrade mine that I have currently, it will be good enough to compete with the next one that comes out when it comes out, with, as the group was saying, the third-party parts, so yeah.
Okay. And Virus, what about you? Is your wife going to be happy if you get another set? Oh, you're on mute.
Oh, Henry, you muted.
Sorry, I was saying my wife didn't even know my Yotech was 8 bills, so she just found that out.
Oh no! She walked in on the podcast.
She was next to me the whole time. But
how much?
The AKM, I want to see it kind of go through its paces.
Yeah.
Right. So given the people when they're it's built for duster gas as well, right? And then when you get the people running it on green gas, you're running it like some people run red, green, black, just to go through its paces, see how it does. The system, I don't think will have too much fault, but it's how people are going to actually test it and like wreck it, right? To see how durable it is. And then it's only then when you're going to get the aftermarket, because when it comes out, you're not going to get any support at all. You're only going to get stock replacement, right? So with that, then I'll make the decision there. But I'm kind of moved on to HBA already, so I'm sorry, guys.
Don't worry. I made that same trail.
All right, so this has been a great sort of a topic, finding out, if the MWS is worth it or not from actual active users at the field. This is awesome that we got, a lot of information out of you guys in terms of like, I didn't realize there was a lot of third-party support or just the system alone, and
Well,
the community is huge on it. That's amazing.
2014, right? So it's had time to grow.
Yeah,
It's the high kappa of M4s.
100%.
Oh,
Yes.
that's actually a good point.
That's a good way to
put
say
that.
it. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good
It
way
is
to
the
put
high, it
that.
really is like everything like they make for the high kappa. You can, or the amount of high kappa parts, there's the same amount for M4s.
Okay, and then last, in short, pretend that like there's viewers out there, listeners out there, listening, and tell them why they should get an MWS system. In a quick word, like someone asks you, is like, should I get one? I'm sure you guys are used to it because you guys convinced each other to do it.
It's
for
an
some
easy
reason.
sell. Just buy it because of COVID. You don't know when it's gonna come back in stock.
Ooh,
Yeah.
not wrong. He is not wrong
He's
on
not
that.
wrong.
No,
Yeah.
I'm like I say this because actually I went to Trigger last week on Friday to buy. I don't know what I bought. Probably a hop up rubber and there was one MWS, one CQB-R left. That was the only MWS they had left, I think. And the guy was looking at it and he was like thinking. He was like wasn't sure. And I just went up to him and said, "Just buy it, dude. Someone's gonna buy it tomorrow." And he bought it.
You
He
just
bought it.
bought it.
I was gonna be
And
all
when I-
like, you were looking at it for 20
No,
minutes, weren't you?
I only knew he bought it because my friend went the next day.
Oh, I
and he
wasn't
told
there.
me- He told me there wasn't an MWS left.
Oh
So
my
somebody bought it.
God.
Like people
Yeah.
are
Should've
buying
gone to
these things
Phoenix.
like hotcakes. Like they
All
really,
right.
like people are buying these things like hotcakes. So
What about you, Chuck? What would you tell someone
A potential buyer.
Yeah.
I would say it is a very good starter GBB if you have the money for it. Purely because of the fact that you can run it almost in every environment. Season.
I mean,
Okay.
personally, I disagree. I'll tell people to go to Wii if they're unsure. But I
Yeah,
mean, spending
I wouldn't say-
spending that much. I mean, yeah, you're right. If they have the money.
If you have the money
If,
for it.
yeah, if someone's willing to put in the money, it's definitely that's like, hey, this should be your first option because then if you want more, you have aftermarket,
Gotcha.
support from there. I agree with that. Even though I didn't go that route, right? Because I'm a cheapo and I like Wii.
Yeah. And what about you, Varus? What would you tell someone?
Yeah, I tell them to buy it. I tell them to buy it because yes, your upfront barrier entry to TM is going to be this much money, but with the support and the parts and its durability, it's you factor into how long you're potentially going to have it. It kind of evens out there versus if you get lower something else, it's not as tried and true or whatever the reviews are. There's likely a failure there. So yeah, I just say get it. And also containers are floating in the water right now faster than the actual ships. I can't even find a PDI barrel.
Oh man.
Oh.
Jeez.
And Tom, what about you? You're the newest addition to this group here. What would you say? Someone new.
Speaking as the noob out of the four of us, I will say you get what you pay for, but in the long run, you definitely get what you pay for.
Gotcha.
Because it lasts. Because the quality is there. It's a Tokyo Marui. That's why my dream gas blowback was an M4 Mark 18. When I first got into airsoft, I wanted a Mark 18, and now I have one, and now I can build on that. So.
Gotcha. So in short, in TM we trust.
In TM we trust.
TM we trust.
Oh, I have that patch. I'll show you guys later.
Yeah.
Sick, dude.
All
It's
right.
sick. I
So
think
let's end this off, guys. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Alistair. Thank you, Henry. And thank you, Tom, for being out here and being, the experts out there at the field who's fielded these, who's used these, who's got experience with these. Because, without you guys, we wouldn't know much about, what this is. And for you guys out there, if you guys have any, certain platforms that you guys want to talk about, come to our Discord and, recommend it on our suggestion because we would love to have you and as well as, a group of other people show up. Maybe it's a Crytek, maybe it's a, Wii users like me, Mac and Tac, Polar Star users. Hey, we're up for anything. We'll have a discussion. I don't care. We will have this discussion and
Henry's
we'll talk
like, I'm
about
coming
that.
back.
I'd rather talk about, from the end user you know, rather than the influencers themselves, because you know you guys get the honest review out of it, and you know the best users are the end users that constantly use it all the time, right? And not given for free, and you know you guys purchase it with your own hard-earned money, and you guys have, you know, the real opinions when it comes to it because you paid for it.
Yeah, you guys have your real feelings, because like I said, I really appreciate all your guys' honest opinions through this podcast, because yes, it is a lot of money, right? And you could be very, very biased, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not really that biased, because you guys spent it, you're having fun with it, but you also have a lot of things that you don't like about it. So it's all in all, like it's a great learning experience, great you know, topic for of discussion for people out there who are interested in dropping that kind of money on something like this, and to also, you know, maybe soon to join the Panther Airsoft MWS owners group.
All right, and Mac, you have anything else to say before we close this off?
No, man. It's really, I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your guys' day. I know it's been a solid commitment, and I'm sorry I've been yawning in the background. I am dying. You know, Tom knows the drill. Like I could see him drooping there too. It's all like, yeah, man, we got work tomorrow. So, you know, appreciate you guys all taking the solid 2 hours, and like, yeah, great information, guys, and can't wait to join the club.
All right, perfect. And Tack, close us off.
Okay, well, hey viewers, if you've liked this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification button so that you guys hear us when we are live, if you catch us live, but because these are recorded sessions. And with that, thank you very much with everyone here. This has been episode 76 of the PAFTT.
All right.
See you later.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.
Peace.